Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel over by there. And today I got, actually, I got to start with a little bit of bad news. Unfortunately, yesterday, the Chicago Bears, were defeated by a team that me and this chick could beat, the Detroit Lions. They only lost by 1 point, 31-30. It's only 1 point. Oh, but goodness gracious me, it was a terrible thing to see the Bears lose again. Not at all what I was hoping for. Not what any of us were hoping for, but it happens. So anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna let Hezokuai take over because what am I gonna say? The Bears lost the Bears, and it's just depressing. I don't even want to talk about it. Sorry, guys. That guy always wants to come in here the day after a game. So anyway, let's say hello to my morning crew. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to all the Rise and Shine with Hezokuai land. And right off the bat, we got commentator auditor saying, "Good morning, Hezokuai land." Hashtag Rise and Shine with Hezokuai. I love it. Good morning, Hez. We got Terry Barnes. Blessings from Kentucky. Thank you. I appreciate it. And then we got Stanley Hayes, who says, Kate always wins. Kate always wins. Trifold. What's the S now? When did that get added? Trifold Trolls United. United we stand, I guess. Hezokuai Morning Crew. Rise and Shine with Hezokuai. And all the other hashtags. Good morning, everybody. Yes, Terry Barnes says, Rise and Shine with Hezokuai. I love it. This should be a good day. Watch Hez this morning and then birthday lunch with some friends. Happy birthday, commentator auditor. Great, man. Have a good day. Have fun. Love it. Terry Barnes, happy birthday. Have a blessed day. Stanley Hayes, trading snow for wet, windy weather. Ugh. Cliff Hickson, morning, boys and girls. Hi, y'all. Hezokuai, did you hear what happened to Amigan's and President's dopey son? Both are in jail. Well, I wouldn't be surprised. We haven't seen any action on their channel. There's got to be something going on. I am back. Good morning. Yes, you are. Love it when you come back. Commentator auditor, I am back. See, I am back. How many times I got to... You know what? I can't even make fun of your Packers thing after the Bears lost to Detroit. Like, I can't say nothing, so I'll just shut up about that. I always tease him about his Green Bay thing, and now I got no room to speak. That we got beat by the Lions. I mean, like I said, me and Ikis could beat the Lions. Speaking of which, good morning, Ikis. Good to see you. Cliff Hickson, good day. Good day, mate. J.H. Ostrucks, hello. Who else we got? Brian Showman, good morning. We got Simone, good morning. Terry Barnes, what's up? Looking like the lead singer from the rock and roll band I used to be in back in the 90s. Susan DeSasio, great granny. Good morning from Oklahoma. Yes, Oklahoma, Oklohoma. Susan DeSasio, great granny. Luna Nights, good morning. Good to see you. Great to have you back. Salacious in the house. Good morning. Rise and Shine with Hezokuai. Half awake trying to figure out what Chili submitted to the court overnight. Yeah, man, that guy, meth is a hell of a drug, kids. Stay away. Luna Nights. Who else? Anyone else? I didn't. Graham is in the house. What's up? Rise and Shine with Hezokuai. Yes. Love it. Love to see you guys here. You guys always make my mornings worthwhile. And I had we're going to get into it. I had a weekend, boy. I'll tell you what. So I'm glad to see you guys. Good morning. I think Chili is having a nervous breakdown, but he doesn't know it. Yeah. Billy Yank. He's on another planet, man. And I don't know. It ain't Earth. LaDonna Rogers. Hello. Welcome. Good to see you. We got Jimbo, Rise and Shine with Hezokuai. Let's see. All right, so I think that's everybody for now. So to get the show started, I want to talk about a couple things. Hezokuai, the channel is takedown, exposed frauditors, and only goes for a couple of minutes. What? Okay, so what do we got going on? We got a whole bunch of stuff, obviously, with the whole Chili thing. I don't even know. I still am like on the fence with that. I'm thinking at this point, I might have to one of these days, like, have a whole show just dedicated to Chili because there's so much. It's like, on one hand, you can't cover it more than everybody's already done it. On the other hand, there's so much to cover. It's like, man. Yeah, I don't know, man. 26 in the room. Hit that like button. What's up? Hit that like. Hit that subscribe. Do what you got to do to support the channel. I love it. Love you guys. Love my morning crew. Internet God, what's up? If you talk about doing a whole show about Chili, you're going to get a lawsuit. Yeah, man. Oh, Nancy Marshall, what's up? Welcome. Good to see you. Yeah, we haven't done anything yet. Just the morning hellos and intros and acknowledging everybody in the chat and unfortunately announcing that the Bears lost yesterday. Ugh. And the saddest part is our quarterback is so freaking good. Last week he broke an NFL record. I mean, the dude's amazing. And what is it? Sports Illustrated is already asking for him to demand to be traded to a different team. It's like, no, we build a team around him, and then we'll finally have something. You take him away, and then we're starting at zero again. Chile went nuts at the airport. You know what? I heard about that, but I didn't see it. Should we watch that? Is that worth checking out? Because I didn't actually see it. I just heard stories. Let's see. Chile went nuts at the airport. Let's see. Yeah, like I said, I saw a lot of thumbnails and stuff talking about it, but I didn't actually. Let's see. Sorry. Boom. All right. I heard about it, but didn't see it. Buckle your seatbelt. Oh, it's that much, huh? Let's find it then. If it really is that intense, let's see. Chile at airport. Chile to Castro airport. Man, these ain't it. Because, like I said, I saw the thumbnail. These are all old videos. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I could do the filters by the date. No results found. What the hell? How should I look? How about Charlie Kirk? What the hell does he have to do with Chile to Castro? Did I spell it wrong? Like, as far as I know, Chile isn't a conservative Republican. I don't know. Anybody got a link? He talks about Legicator's wife. Oh, not good, not good. Kiss a cat. Good morning, Devos Nation. What's up? Dog Detective did it last night. Let's see. We love Dog Detective over here. She's pretty cool. I like her little avatar thing that she has to her. Now departing for Butthurt Island. That's the name of. Let's see. It's on. Is the original? Uh oh. I didn't even start it yet, and I'm already like, uh oh. He should delete everything, especially his brain and himself. Chile de Castro is so useless, man, and in so many ways. First, let's see if he still has the original up on his. No, his most recent thing on here was from like 4 days ago. Let's go to his lives. Ex-cop bro, she told me stories about why he quit. Okay, whatever. Blue bacon. Oh boy, this guy's such a turd hammer. All right, well, let's take a look at I don't know, how much commentary and stuff is going to be involved in this because this is Dog Detective's video, but let's take a look and see what everybody's talking about because a lot of people are talking about it. So I'm kind of curious myself to see. She's live right now, Dog Detective. Let's see. No, she's not on right now. Anyway, let's take a look at what she did yesterday, talking about this idiot, and see what's going on. So you guys let me know in the chat, the ones who've seen this before, if I need to fast forward or rewind or where we're at, because this is fascinating to me.
He's definitely not an auditor. Definitely not an auditor.
Can you imagine seeing a guy doing this in the airport? Oh, thank you. Indeed. Indeed.
Now, look at this. If you talk about me, Terry, if you put my name in your
Uh-huh.
subject, you're going to get some views.
Mm,
But Terry,
true.
if you don't talk about me, if Ironton Auditor talks about me, then he gets some views. Intro, 208. Explanation of technical difficulties, 184. Out doing my thing, nobody gives a shit what you do, Terry. You're a bottom boy beta. Ironton Auditor meets General Lee, nobody gives a shit. Thanks to all of you, we have more help, 600 people.
Yeah, but it's not always about the views. Sometimes it's just the satisfaction of making a video.
Conspiracy Music, 283 views. Legicator,
Aw,
360.
thank
Oh,
you.
wasn't I going to fight Legicator, but I got hurt with my knee and my high blood pressure? So I couldn't do it. So we're still 762 views. Protest family in Ironton. Hey, not bad, Terry.
Finally.
Massive protests
can't
against police in
read.
Ironton. Hey, look at that, Terry. When you stand up for the people, they actually watch.
Hmm.
Turn signal violation, 822 views. Wrong way.
What
Second.
a turd
I don't
hammer.
understand how filming things is standing up for the people, but you know, whatever. That's your thing. I get it.
And let me throw my 2 cents in on that too. So, like, it's like, what's up, unclean? So the idea is you got to go out, you got to film the cops. So this guy goes out and film the cops, and he's like, haha, your videos don't have any views. So what? I thought the whole point was to film the cops, right? That's the big thing. So because he doesn't get a ton of views when he does it, then that makes it null and void. Mike Engels, what's up? Yeah, Chili is definitely a narcissistic, psychopathic, sociopathic, douche hammer, drug addicted moron.
Warrant, Sergeant McKnight. Look at the
Kind
views.
of.
600, 500.
Not
Delete
really.
laws, 521 views. Oh, no, Terry.
Funny
Oh,
how
no,
you
you
like to
can't
talk
even get
about
views when you
everybody
use my
else.
name.
Like,
999
Guess so.
views,
how
Terry.
dare, like,
Great
Chili
thing to admit,
gets
right?
turned over
wait a
to
minute, wait a minute.
3,000.
Sorry. Tag Nabbit. This is so funny because if you look at Delete Law's channel, his whole thing now is he's complaining about how Ironton Auditor gets more views for mentioning Delete Laws. And what does Delete Laws title his videos? Blah, blah, blah with Blue Bacon. Blah, blah, blah with Ironton Auditor. Blah, blah, blah. It's like all he does is talk about other people. Kate Peter. Oh, Masshole Report. So he just steps on his own foot, right? So he's an idiot.
Views,
Stupid
Terry.
idiot.
2.3 thousand.
That's
Use my name again.
2.3 thousand. Oh, sweet Jesus, Chili. It's 2,300. Calm down.
He doesn't know how to read
This
numbers
man,
or anything. for
numbers
that
do
matter.
not agree with him.
You get 1,000 views. Nothing, Terry. You don't get any views. No one watches your shit, Terry. Nobody watches what you do. Nobody. So let's get somewhere where it matters. Come on, dude. Police interview Captain Goo because
Maybe.
Chad Goo was going to fight me, so you got some views. Larry Flanoid, no views. A loser convict piece of shit.
So once again, I thought the whole point was to hold the police accountable. So all you could talk about is how many views he's getting on his videos. Like, but I thought that the views and the numbers and all that had nothing to do with it. I thought it was you were trying to make a statement about something. But no, this is like, come on, guy.
So where's it at? Tina Slay Richardson talking about Chili. 13,000 views. Oh my gosh, Ironton Auditor. 1.2 thousand views. But let's get to
1.2 thousand views. Oh, sweet Jesus, God.
That's his biggest one. Interesting day. Chili's
Oh
back.
my God,
6,000
no.
views. Interesting
Thank
day.
you,
Chili's
Thea.
back. 6,000 views. I mean, it's just plain as day. The guy
That you're an idiot. Yes.
find out what I could do, and I guarantee that band boy would have no chance. So here's their Discord account. He's
That
lucky
was
I don't live
rapey.
on the same landmass because I would actually do something like Dan Clemente would. Dude, please try it. For
Like
the love of God,
Legicator would have if you
please
didn't chicken
do
out.
it. Come at me in the street where I can unleash my fury. Please give me the satisfaction
You had
of
the
unloading on
opportunity
you, bro.
and you
Do
chickened out. So what are you talking about?
Freezing. Chilly. Oh my God. And he means these things when he's raging out, by the way.
What's up, Roisin?
He means it. He said he fantasizes about violence. And that is so freaking creepy.
Foot in the street and do it. I double dog dare you.
I double dog dare ya.
So then it says, all these types of videos he makes, which are literally against YouTube's terms of services.
Mhm.
You mean like stalking people and then watching my videos on a back?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. You need to read the terms of service. You seriously need to, because I have. You haven't.
Back channel? Okay.
I'm sorry, I gotta dress this unclean hands. He finally changed his shirt. He took off the stupid vest. That's exactly right. He looks like his mommy dressed him. Oh, that's great. Oh man, this guy, I'll tell you what. So again, I haven't seen this video yet. So should I fast forward a bit, or is this like where we're at with this meltdown?
It's an established that it's not her. Okay. I hope they detain him and keep him in Guantanamo or Gitmo. Amen. Fuck it. The bottom of a river will do. Are you kidding me, bro? Come and put me on the bottom of the river. Come on.
They're not credible threats. People say that shit about me all the time. People have threatened me. People have threatened my dog. I mean, who gives a shit?
I'm just dying for one of you motherfuckers to show up in real life. I've been waiting since
Jesus.
October of 2021. Somebody show up in real life and take a swing at me, and you'll find out how quick I'll throw your head into the concrete. I'm just tired of you fucking pussies like Terry Nip. Terry, put the gun down. I'll come meet you wherever you want. I'll meet you on the Kentucky border. Want to find out how good you
Yeah,
do, Terry?
like you
Terry,
would
I'd
show up
squash you like a
unarmed.
bug. It'd be like bonk, and Terry'd be done.
Okay.
Look at this. He's
So eloquent.
really dangerous now. He's really dangerous now. Yeah, if you come at me on the street, I'm very dangerous. If you don't come at me physically,
I mean, you don't seem very dangerous to me. You're like one of those dogs that are leash reactive. Like you think you're tough, but in reality, when the chips are down, you're gonna fold.
there's no danger to you. Chili will be reported to the police in Arizona. For what?
Hmm.
For what? For what, Susie? You fucking loser. For what? He put the wrong
Be
address.
nice to
That's awesome.
Susie.
AZ Jeep Girl needs to send screenshots to the local PD and file a police report. For what? For revealing that you're a piece of shit? For revealing your name and where you live? You live in Gilbert, Arizona? I put a picture of your house up, but it's not your house. It's a blurred picture.
Well, I mean, and judging by your past experiences with women and other people, I'm going to say that, if she was scared, she would let her local police know, that something might happen. It's generally a safe move when you're a streamer. It's important that they know so, you don't get like swatted.
Yeah, but
Thank
he's
you,
an
Charlie
idiot.
girl. Oh, I love you too.
Aw.
Chilly. Look up stories of real stalking and harassment that you girls face daily from internet creeps. I'm feeling called out. You know nothing of stalking and harassment. It's. I have gotten some weird shit, and honestly, half the time it's a joke and it's kind of funny, and the other half of the time it's kind of just like okay. But I once was stalked for like a year. The guy would show up at my work, at my home. It culminated in him
Forgiven Jerry,
getting
what's up?
hired
Didn't
at the
see you.
same workplace as me and stalked.
Love you,
well, I
dog
ended
detective,
up
but I don't want to steal your
job
fire.
you
I
made
just want
difficult.
to.
Bark, 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 bark.
Curious.
Chili
AZ
crap.
is
Yeah.
stand your ground. She has personal security as well. This will grab the attention to bring her to a cyber. David, you said you wouldn't dox me. You lied. That letter is a thing of beauty.
It's satire, right?
Good morning, my beautiful troll farm friends.
Ooh, here I am.
Trying to find this person, dog detective. I'm
Yeah.
trying to find this person to dox him. I want to know who this person is, dog detective on YouTube. Anybody can help me find this person? I won't dox you. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Oh,
Did you
no.
report me to YouTube? Oh no!
Oh, no.
Anything but that. You reported me to YouTube.
Leland
I sent in an
Squirrels,
entire
what's up?
certified mail
Yeah.
via package. I sent YouTube a notice of intent to sue. They don't give a shit.
They don't give a shit about your lawsuit, Chili. They're gonna peace out. You will
Chili
just
should never come
watch.
to the UK because he'll never leave that. I promise it. So my legal team, make sure that we put in there when we want
Yeah.
Kate to identify people, that this person has to be identified. And then once
Why? What purpose does it serve? What purpose does it actually serve? How is it actually relevant? It's not a credible threat. You're clear across the world, and you're probably never getting into the UK.
identify you, you put a death threat in here that you want to put me at the bottom of a river.
Yeah,
That's
I
a death
know.
threat. No, but I feel like Chili's going in the direction. He's not stable. Hey, adults are talking. I'm not stable. You're a part of a group of people, stalkers, bro. I asked you guys to leave me alone or I would dox you. You didn't take.
We're not stalking you. You're posting this publicly. I don't get what you don't understand about this. Like, people are going to comment. You're entertaining.
Me seriously. Now I'm doxing your asses.
Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
doxing your asses. That's how it's going. People
Go
are right behind me
ahead.
screaming, so I'm gonna go right over here.
Exactly what impact is going to have on my life.
All right, see, and this is something I wanted to mention about this whole thing and what he's saying about being stalked and this and that and the other thing, and the idea of him being a public figure. Okay, so when a celebrity goes out, everybody and their brother is all over them. There's paparazzi everywhere. Random people want to stop and talk to them. They can't even sit down and have a dinner without everybody and their brother asking for an autograph. It's a major thing, right? So can they sue literally every single person in the world for stalking them because that happens? No. If some idiot breaks into their house or is on their property and has a freaking knife, that's when you get these stalking things that actually go to court and get people in trouble. But some people going on the internet and commenting on things that you posted publicly to the internet, well, you posted it publicly to the internet. You want them to leave you alone. Stop posting videos. Like, and especially because all of your videos are nothing about you complaining about them. So they don't have a right to respond to your complaints about them. This guy is so. The funniest thing about Chili, and one of the reasons why I kind of like backed off on him a little bit, isn't because I don't think he needs to be made fun of. He definitely does. But because after the whole thing with Kate and Josh started, it got to a point where both sides are against him now. Like, even frauditors, sovereign citizens, all these people, like first class, bottom of the barrel, brain dead idiots. How stupid do you have to be for even those people to look at you and say, man, this guy's stupid? I mean, this guy's dumb on a whole nother level of stupidity. Holy crap.
Fucking zero. Oh, he believes he has my picture. Hold up. Let me see. His fucking post on the community page. Oh my God. Contempt of court motion. That is too funny. Yeah, no, I didn't see that. That's not me.
Let's keep going. Let's keep reading it. Let's keep going. We're gonna keep on reading it here. So,
Okay.
oops, the thing rolls, huh? I didn't notice that. It rolls. Okay, there we go. Chili should never come to the UK.
Wait, he has two phones, so he's just filming one phone on the other phone? God, you are so bad at YouTube.
Motherfucker, if I come to the UK, I'll put your head in the concrete. You come at me on the street, I'll throw your head in the concrete.
Okay, I don't think the UK would let you in now. It sounds like you want to go there and commit a crime, so I don't think you're going to go in. Also, I don't think you can afford to really visit.
I might be 48 years old, but what matters in the street is who throws who on the ground
Like,
first.
dude, their comments in Discord, people talk shit all the time. I get threats constantly, and I don't get triggered by them. Why are you so triggered?
Because the hard ground, there's a sudden stop. So good luck.
It's not
buddy.
a credible threat.
Good luck.
Calm down.
Attack me on the street. I double dog dare you. I hope you do, because if you do, I'll put your head in the concrete.
Okay,
My
but
headphones are a beacon for
concrete
drones.
isn't usually in the street. We usually use asphalt. So, yeah.
And then they put a picture of where my residency is in California, but I don't live there. So good luck. And then someone put in here, this guy just put in here, did I just join a cult? That's funny. Yes, you did, bro. You just joined a cult. And then right here, Bacon lied. So he wasn't drinking apple juice. No, he's drinking whiskey on his show. Yes, David lied. See that? See that? They lied. That
They lied. It wasn't apple juice. It was whiskey. We all knew it was whiskey, dummy. He just didn't say apple juice to keep it family friendly. Jesus.
Sergeant.
And also this, why does he believe gender or sexual preference makes them in any way inferior? He's so insecure, and it's like, calm down.
Bacon, Alpha Phi, get out of here, bro. Bro, you're a Bandcamp guy. Shut the fuck up. Alpha Phi, you're a Bandcamp.
Are you jealous because he has a talent that you don't? Because you don't really seem to have any talents or personality? God, it must hurt.
Guy, bro. You play the tuba, which is fine. I actually love instruments, but don't act like you're alpha male. I crush you like a great brother. You're lucky that this is legal and not physical in the street.
I actually love instruments. Can you play any? I really want to know.
He could play the skin flute.
Please.
That's about it.
Can you play any instruments other than, you know, the skin flute?
Hey, I just said that.
Just you're very lucky, bro. You're very lucky. All you motherfuckers are lucky. If you actually tried to take me onto the street,
why am I lucky?
It would take me seconds, just like it does on most of them.
On most of them?
All right, sorry. I just want to say something real quick. Unclean hands. You almost got yourself canceled. Who Akbar, right? Oh man, Alpha. He said Alpha. I meant Alpha. That's great. No, I'm sorry. I just thought that was funny because I read that and I'm like, wait, what? What made you say that all of a sudden? Then you're like, I meant Alpha. Okay. I'm sorry. I just thought that was funny. Here you go.
Are you telling me you just go around committing like felony level violence? I'm a little concerned.
37 degrees.
Okay.
We don't unknowingly like lying.
We don't
He
like.
He should have been honest. We would have had his back. Talking about Blue Bacon lying about his name being Michael Bettadini.
Yeah, we get it.
Everyone's saying this was a troll and it's not him. It's futile. When all of his info and his pics are openly available online, Jesus. He profited off and begged Chili to find him. Now he wants to lie to everyone when he's found. And that's from full shizzle. So even your people, dude, Michael Bettadini, even your people know that it's you. Why don't you stop lying, bro? Stop lying. You're a liar, bro. Stop lying, dude. You ruined yourself by lying. You're caught. All I needed to do was know where you live to serve you, dude. No one's coming to your house to fucking kill you. No one's coming to your house to attack you. Nobody's coming to your house to do anything.
I love how you swing back and forth from talking about graphic depictions of violence, and then you're like, nobody's gonna do that. Like you said earlier, like that you were gonna send someone to his house. Your community post says something that is completely opposite of what the video says right now. I mean, it's just like, just pick a thing. Stop moving the goalposts. It's very confusing.
To you. I just want you.
Real quick, I just want to mention something because this is funny. Debos Nation pointed this out. So what he actually said was that he trained with Kem Shamrock, but that isn't even the funniest part. The funniest part is I've seen someone talk to Kem Shamrock about that, and he's like, I never heard of Jose de Castro. I don't know what you're talking about. I never even heard of the dude. So yeah, he's obviously full of it. This guy he's a turd bomber.
You to feel what it's like when people know where you live and people have a picture of your house. Is that what you like that? You like that? Is that fun for you? Is it fun when people put your address up online? Is that a good time for you? Are you enjoying yourself, Michael? Piece of shit. Can I still be pro pussy? I promise to remain a straight man and not wear makeup any longer.
Okay.
I just hope he sticks to his guns and doesn't puss out, and we will find out the true Blue Bacon soon. I just hope he does not disappoint, but it's not looking good right now. What the hell is going on? I don't know. I'm scared. Hold me. We need a crib notes page now. We already found out he doubled down on the lie, like we're fucking stupid. So Shizzle is saying that Michael Pettitini is lying and that his real name is Michael Pettitini. Michael Pettitini. Blue Bacon came in, Kate muted him.
So you can.
So
Let me
people,
get this
that
straight.
beta bitch boy.
So you can talk all you want about Kate, but if Kate talks about you or even uses your name, which was what your little motion was about in Pacer, even just uses your name, it's bad. But you can sit here and you can diss on her and a bunch of other people, and somehow, like, that's fine. Oh, well, they pulled their punches first. Is that how you think it works? Because that's not how it works.
Terry, who's like,
Because also you've been pulling punches this entire time. You are so freaking triggered right
Nothing works the way that he thinks things work. The guy is absolutely insane. That's the problem.
now. Like, you have no control over your emotions. It's absolutely wild.
Billy only goes after women. Terry, drop that gun, bro. See how fast I go after.
I didn't say you only go after women. I will make a clarifying statement on it. Here's the thing. He feels comfortable going after women, and he gets extra triggered when women are critical of him. He's triggered whenever anyone's critical of him, but especially women.
What I don't understand is he's constantly saying, like, I mean, this whole time so far, what is he doing? He's talking about, come on, you think you're so tough? Let's go. Come on, let's think you're so tough. Let's go. And the one time that someone actually called him out on it, oh, I can't. Oh, I'm not. And he backs out. Like, so how does he has absolutely zero credibility now, and yet he still keeps trying to pump this narrative. Like that he'll take on anyone, anywhere, anytime. Unless someone actually takes him up on it, then all of a sudden he can't do it. He's got high blood pressure. Oh, his knee hurts. Oh, his butt itches. Oh, he's got a headache. Oh, his headphones are stuck to his head.
And he's done it before. It's a habit of his, so he feels comfortable doing it. He feels comfortable threatening women because he's threatened women before. There you go, Chili. There you go. Try to sue me for that one. I've seen all the paperwork, bud.
After you, bro. Wasn't I going to fight the guy who you changed his tire? Grease monkey? Wasn't that you,
thank
Terry
you.
Nip, getting down there? Hey, I'm fixing Captain Goose tire. Yes, I am. I'm fixing his tire. Look at me. As soon as Chili stopped paying me, I just went the other way and started helping the cops. I was paying him. I didn't want to announce this, but everybody in Ironton needs to know this. Terry Nip was not an auditor. I paid him money to go out on the streets. I called him up. I said, are you home? He said, I'm home.
I mean, you paid him to do your auditing thing. Why would you post proof that you paid him to do that?
Boom, send him $100. Dude, get out on the streets and help the people. You saw the receipts the entire month of April. 100. I called Terry Nip. Where are you? I'm at home. Cash app $100. Go out on the streets and film. Nobody knows this. I never told anybody. But that's the fact. No, there's some people who know the fact. But I didn't announce this publicly. Terry Nip was being paid. He was being paid to be an auditor. He's not an auditor. He's a cop sucker, and he's working against the people.
Aren't they all getting paid through their YouTube channels, though? Like, what's his point? Oh, wait, it's Chili. There is no point.
Yo, what's going on, Colin? Thanks for the super chat, brother. Blue Bacon came in and Kate muted him. So Terry Nip says I only go after women. Well, I mean, take a look at the score. You got that chick from last night. All these women are making profiles saying, look at Chili, he's an alpha male. Quick, everybody jump on the alpha male.
Oh, yeah, because women don't use the internet. So they all, I just sent out the woman signal and they all jumped on YouTube and made accounts and went after you. You got me. I called it my army of women. Is anybody believing this? Okay, I don't either.
That's what's happening. Everybody jump on the alpha male, and everybody's so popular.
Jump on the alpha male. Nobody wants to jump on you. You are gross. You are.
Well, wait a minute. Before she gets into like whatever she's trying to say, what I would say to that, if I was talking to somebody, say, "Oh, everyone jump on the alpha male," I'd say, "Well, show me one." Where? Because it ain't you, pal. That's for damn sure. Idiot.
Very gross human being, and
yes,
not because of your looks, and because of your
everything. Script cat,
personality.
what's up?
I'll just boil it down to that.
And mostly it's a bunch of cucks, a bunch of beta boys and a bunch of hens pecking around. We can't be led by an alpha.
Ooh, hens. You afraid of hens?
We can't be led by an alpha. Sorry, kids. The leader has arrived.
Yeah, well, you know what we do to roosters?
Chop
They're
their
not
heads
very
off.
useful. Hens are, though. So suck it.
Fair use, public domain, are the jazz. Says he just had to be honest. Don't admit it to people in DMs. So Michael Paratini admitted to people in DMs and then publicly lie to everyone. Like you tried to orchestrate some elaborate troll. You made money off videos begging him to find you. And now you're bitching down because you got found. Either ignore it or accept it. But you look like a douche lying about it. There it is right there. There it is right there. It's right there. There it is.
There it is.
All right,
I got
so
more.
anyway,
Hold on,
what
there's a
else?
lot
This
more
is
here.
really
I'm
long.
sure
What
you
else?
do.
Tons and tons.
Tons and tons.
Is there anything else on this that I have to see to go over this? Because so far it's just him being the same old idiot that he always is. What's up, Captain Happy? Good to see you. Me, who else didn't I see and say hello to yet? Script Cat, of course, is in the house. We got me. We got Kiss Cat. We got the Internet Guy, Billy Yank. Lee the Squirrel Salacious. Forgiving Jerry. What's up? Christopher O'Connor. Mike Mahood. And this is another thing, too. Like, he keeps going off about Blue Bacon not using his real name. And it's like, well, in case you weren't aware, this is the internet. This is YouTube. And a certain amount of anonymity is, to me, kind of smart. But whatever. Hey, you want to advertise yourself out there? I mean, this is Cat Woo. What's up? But this has been his thing the whole time, right? He's always doing that. Anyway, unless there's anything else in there, I just got to see because, I mean, again, so far it's just him yapping and talking the same old nonsense he always talks, whatever. Chili being an idiot. What a surprise. The super necessary douche hammer, right? I don't know. So I'll watch the whole thing later and see if there's anything else I need to talk about. Maybe we'll go over it tomorrow on the stream. But I don't want to spend all day just talking about that idiot. Like I said, maybe I'll have one day that I just dedicate to him because there's so much information about him. You could just let it build forever and then have 16 days of stories about him. No, you've seen the best of it. All right. Let's see. So another thing that I just wanted to take a quick look at because it's well, here, let me give you a little bit of a backstory here before we get into this. So what happened was yesterday, well, okay, last week, there's the story behind the story. So I'm floating around, the internet, looking at what's going on, and I see that Broken System, Broken Trust is live. So I went over there to see, what are these idiots talking about now? And he had an open panel, so I decided to go up on his panel, and I talked for a while, and every time I tried to ask Broken System a question, instead of him answering it, I guess Wolverine Transparency is his daddy or something, because every time I tried to talk to Broken System, Broken Trust, Wolverine Transparency would yap for an hour and a half. And then I'd be like, okay. And so what about the question I asked him on his channel and his stream about what he's saying? And then Wolverine Transparency would go off for like another 20 minutes about some nonsense, whatever. So that was a whole nightmare. I covered it on here before. So then I go back. I went and I was looking to see if there were any updates from that or whatever. And then I just happened to run across a thing that he posted where he posted this video of some dude that I didn't know who this dude was, quoting specific laws and ordinances that really sounded crazy to me. Like, just insane. Like, the Supreme Court said, basically, no one has to follow any law at any time. And that's a Supreme Court ruling. And it's like, okay, there's no way that I could possibly believe for a second that that's a legitimate Supreme Court ruling. But whoever it was that was doing it put the code, the actual case he cited in the video. So I actually read the case. And in the process of doing that, I found out, like, I'm like, oh, well, okay, this wasn't Broken System who said this. So who the heck is it? Yeah, where is Peck? Where you at, dude? Well, you know, he's in Australia. Who knows what's going on over there right now? So anyway, I found out who the dude was. It was this Paul Unslaved, he's called, right? So I'm like, oh, well, I wonder who this dude is that Broken System is using him as his, you know, information. Like, here's my proof that I'm right because Paul Unslaved said this. Well, I'm like, who the hell is Paul Unslaved? Is this guy a lawyer or something? Like, who is this dude? So I go to his channel, and he's got this whole list on his community tab of all of these cases. And I went up and I looked at every single one of them, and every single one of them was nonsense to what he was trying to say. Absolutely unrelated on any level to any of the arguments he was trying to make, or it just flat out wasn't true. Like, one of them was a case where, like, okay, so you're in court, right? And everything you say is on the record. Yes. Well, okay, that comes up, Christopher. I'm getting to that. So everything that he's talking about comes up is all nonsense, right? The first case that he talked about, I looked it up and I pulled it up and I looked at it and I'm like, wait a minute. He said, okay, so let me go back. So when you're in court, everything you say is on the record, unless the judge specifically says that needs to be stricken from the record, right? So anything you say that isn't stricken from the record is on the record. So if you pull up that case and you look at the record and the person who was the defendant says, well, the government says I don't need an ID because I'm traveling, not driving, you can't grab the case and take that sentence and say, see, the fact that was said in court proves it's true. No, it just proves that idiot said that in court. So that whole whatever it was he was trying to prove through that quote was nonsense because it was a quote from a random idiot speaking nonsense. It had nothing to do with the actual case, just that he said that in court. And then the other one that he was talking about, what's up, Dina, literally had nothing to do with anything. I read the whole case, and whatever he put in there must have been just made up. I don't know where he got that from. And then the third case that he was talking about was a case that took place in the 1770s. And it was about, like, when Britain, like the 13 colonies, right? When the United States was still Britain, and then there was the Revolutionary War, and then it became the United States. There was a guy who was, as we all were at the time, British citizens before the war, who were now U.S. citizens after the war, who went to court because he wanted to maintain his British citizenship. So this guy, this Paul Enslaved, is taking quotes from that case to support his argument. It's like, dude, you're talking about somebody trying to figure out what to do in a brand new country that was literally just founded at that time, and trying to, like, that argument doesn't hold water today. I even said when I responded to him, I'm like, dude, you're talking about a case that took place before the Louisiana Purchase. The dude could have just went to Iowa and he'd be perfectly free, like, and have nothing to do with the United States at the time. It just makes no sense to bring that up. And then the last case he brought up that I addressed was talking about, in this case, the Supreme Court said that you can't force somebody to do this. And the argument he was trying to make basically was that case proves that the government can't basically force anyone to do anything. But if you actually read the case, it was a naturalized citizen who broke the law. And so the government was trying to take away his citizenship based on the law he broke, that they were saying that took away his right to naturalization. And while he was arguing in court, they subpoenaed him to testify against himself to be deported. And the Supreme Court found that it's essentially a Fifth Amendment rights violation to force someone to testify against themselves. So, and it wasn't even about that. It was about the way the subpoena was worded. So taking a case about the specific wording of a subpoena in a specific situation and using that of what they found regarding that specific subpoena and saying that applies to everything because it was a Supreme Court decision is ridiculous. That's not how common law works. Yes, they'll use other decisions from the past, but like if the guy was arguing that legally I could do whatever I want, whenever I want, and then the Supreme Court says, yes, you are right, you could do what you want when you want, then that would be precedent. But to say that in this specific case regarding this specific subpoena, yes, they cannot word it specifically the way they did is not, I mean, it would be, you could use that as common law regarding other subpoenas that are being written, but not just now all of a sudden that applies to the general public. That's like if somebody walks into a store and steals a cookie and the Supreme Court for some reason says, well, since technically it was just one cookie, it doesn't count. Now anyone can steal anything anywhere? It's ridiculous. Anyway, so that's the backstory. So what happens? I'm trying to figure out who this Paul Unslaved guy is. So I go to his channel and I see he's on live. So I'm like, oh, well, let me go listen to what he's talking about. And then somebody, I don't even remember what, but somebody on his panel says something. I respond to it. They say, well, why don't you come up here and talk, say that to our faces. So I'm like, all right. I'll go up there. I don't care, So I go up there and I'm going to play some of the interaction I had with him last night on his channel. And I want you guys to pay attention to a few things that happened. I decided very early on in this whole thing to sort of take like the judge in the Darrell Brooks case approach in terms of instead of arguing with them and blah, 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 to sort of let them dig their own hole, let them just go off and say that and whatever. But yeah, he's very angry. Well, you're going to see when you watch this, you're going to see how they do this. So right off the bat, okay. And again, I'm going to play it, but I want to like give you guys some like here's why I'm playing it. This is the things I want you to look for. So first of all, they state these things like just say, for example, we all know that they have this idea that if you're driving, you don't need a driver's license because you're not in commercial capacity, right? And we all know that's not true. But he states it like he makes all these arguments, but states these facts that aren't facts, right? So that it's like, well, whoa, hey, wait a minute. I don't accept that because that's just not true. Like you can't sit here and ask me a question and then demand that I give a yes or no answer to a question where the fundamental nature of your question is nonsense. Like I can't answer that question because it's based on a premise that just is debunked a million times over, right? So they keep going on and on, and it's 9-on-1. There's 10 people in there. I'm one of them, so it's 9-on-1, and they're all an echo chamber that all agree with each other on everything. But watch what happens when they bring up masks. And I say that while that was going on, if a place had a sign on the door that said you have to wear a mask to enter, that I put a mask on. And as soon as that happens, like we're not having a reasonable conversation to begin with, okay? But as soon as I say that, all facts, all logic, all science, all research, none of that stuff is on the table anymore. And immediately it goes into like 45 minutes of idiots trying to insult me. Like, where's the argument? And then you'll see as they start getting themselves more and more heated. And I didn't even do anything. I just said, yeah, I'd wear a mask if they asked me to. And you would think that I raped one of these guys' sisters or something, the way they're acting. And then the whole crew of them, because our big argument is these guys are all just a bunch of criminals, right? The whole lot of them start bragging about how they're hardcore tough guy alphas and they can prove it because they've been to prison. And I'm not the one who takes it up the butt. I'm the one who gives it because I'm the big bad alpha when I'm in prison. And if anyone tries to touch my food, I'll stab them in the neck. I don't care. These kids come in saying they kill people. I've murdered people. So don't you? And it's like, I'm supposed to take you guys serious and take your arguments serious and believe you when the second I say, yeah, I'd wear a mask if they asked me to in a business, all of a sudden, now these guys are bragging about the fact that they've done time, that they're criminals, like not just someone who got pulled over for a broken taillight, but legitimate criminals that have been involved in legitimate crime, and they're bragging about it like that makes them special. And they even told me, you need to start hanging out with criminals, man, so that you'll understand things. It's like, no, you need to stop hanging out with criminals and maybe you'll learn something. But they don't give me a chance to talk at that point. And just watch how, again, it's not good to begin with because every argument they make, like I said, leading up to this is based on them stating facts that aren't facts and having absolutely nothing to back it up. And then, like I said earlier, and this is why I'm giving this whole big, long intro, is because even when they do state specific laws and specific things, they're wrong. They're using them either out of context or it's just some made-up sovereign citizen garbage. So anyway, take a look at this shit show from last night. Oh, man. Here we go. And again, to me, this just helps to prove how horrible these people are and insane. So there I am right down here on the bottom right.
See, you already said something false, right? So I'm going to correct you. I do know Artie's corporate fiction. He does have dealings with us, and he's been here multiple times for me to, I guess, delaminate him is a good word. Break him down into individual parts and then show him to the world, right? So, yeah. Because, again, I'm not big on, like, corporate legal scum who speak with a forked tongue, who are duplicitous, who seek to...
Okay. Now, you see how I go, oh, right there. What is the point? The logical, reasonable, legal point he's trying to make? Well, Artie's corporate fiction is a lawyer, which means that he's a scumbag, and I don't deal with lying scumbags. So already, instead of stating facts, he's falling to insults. Just because I said the name Artie's corporate fiction.
To disempower all the men and women and their God-given rights. Yeah, I'm not into that. So when I like to tech those folks, I like ask them 3-4 questions. They show themselves, and then I just go to vanquishing demons, right?
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Well, sort of. I mean, like I said, you were the only one that I saw something from you on Broken System, Broken Trust, and you were like quoting these laws. So I looked up the actual cases you were quoting, and I noticed that everything that you said was either blatant lies or absolutely taken out of context. So I was like, oh,
okay, so let's throw that all away then.
Truth.
Sure, so let's throw that all away then. Everything I said there, I must have been confused and misinformed. Would you like to go to, like, we can start from the top. Would you like me to pull up the U.S. code? I've been doing this a lot lately. Because, again, forget about what I said. Forget it.
All right. Now, this part coming up, I really like this bit because you can tell already that he thinks he's setting up a gotcha. He's going to hit me with a gotcha. And in about 5 minutes, he's going to admit that I proved him wrong. Check this out.
About case law and opinions of other men. Let's just go right to the governing body, the U.S. code that governs the federal corporation. Does that work for you?
Sure.
Okay, so there it is. United States means a federal corporation.
In
You
what
see that right
context?
there?
Also, by the way, before we continue, I want to make sure I make this clear with you guys. Eventually, they kind of try to call me out on it and accuse me of playing stupid or whatever. And to a certain extent, I am. Obviously, this is the argument they all use every time. I'm extremely familiar with this, but I try to play it off kind of because here's the thing, and it's not really baiting. It's because why would I go to this guy's channel at all? Like, why would I even allow myself to endure this nonsense? Well, because to me, I've always been fascinated with the difference between idiots who, like, I always use the examples of like, hey, educator, what's up? We were just making fun of Chili earlier. I always am fascinated by, and I'll say all the time, like SGV, Casey Camera Boy, Silence Boy, all of these guys, Auditing America, Fake News, Real Mike, whatever. All of these guys, it seems to me, don't care or believe in what they claim to be doing. Oh, NC Tyrant Hunter is another one. They Peter Libre audits, all these guys. There's so many of them. I could keep naming them. They all claim to be fighting for this certain legal stuff or whatever, but in reality, they don't believe in any of that. They're just trying to get paid, just flat out legit trying to get paid. They found a loophole on YouTube where you can actually make money by filming yourself being an asshole. So they decided to do that for a living. But then the ones that fascinate me are the people who actually do believe this stuff. Like, I legitimately am trying to understand how their brains work, that they can't comprehend simple things and turn everything into some big, crazy, insanity. And that's what this guy's doing here. So I admit there was a certain amount in here of me playing dumb on purpose, but it was because I wanted to hear their arguments. I wanted to hear their point of view. Like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? What is that? Because I want to hear how they explain it. And they never do, of course. They just go into insults and ad hominems and bullshit. But I'm giving them every opportunity in the world. I'm saying, look, I don't understand. Please tell me. Oh, well, if you don't understand, you're just an idiot. Okay, so in other words, instead of taking an opportunity to try and teach someone who's asking a question, you're just going to yell at them and call them names. All right, that's good, solid intellectual debate right there. I'll tell you what.
What's the difference? What context? If at some time, somewhere, it is deemed a federal corporation, then that is what it is, right? Or are you one of these folks who believes that in one place it can be something, in another place it can shapeshift into something else?
Well, in the context that is stated there, it talks about an instrumentality of the government. Instrumentality of the United States. Everybody considers the United States the government. Now, remember, and I pointed this out several times, and I know you've heard it, and I can tell you're an intelligent man. Listen, if the states ceded their jurisdiction to the United States, and the United States is located in Washington, D.C., and Washington, D.C. has no statehood, did the states then, by reason and logic, just give up their sovereignty to a state that has no statehood?
So now here we go, right here. What's going to happen is he's going to demand a yes or no answer, and I'm not going to give it to him. Why? Because, again, you're asking questions based on a foundation of nonsense. Like, if I say, would you like ice cream for dessert? Well, I don't know. Yes or no? Do you want some ice cream? Right? But saying, isn't it true that ice cream is actually made out of dead babies? Wait, no, that's not a yes or no question. Now you're getting into an entire political debate about all this other stuff that has nothing to do with what you're talking about. but you're building these questions on assumptions that are just not true. So I'm going to try to steer the conversation back to what we were talking about, which was the U.S. code. That now this guy's bringing up something completely different. It's like, no. And so again, they're going to try to paint the picture like I'm, being evasive or not answering or this or that. But it's like, no. I'm trying to steer the conversation back to what we're talking about, which is the U.S. code that you say defines the United States as a corporation, because they always do that. And they always go back to the same code. And again, in a couple minutes, I'm going to hit them with the reality of it. And they're going to argue, blah, blah, blah. But then like 5 minutes after that, Paul is going to admit that I got him, that I was right, because he knows, because I don't know. Maybe he's only 40% idiot, but you'll see how it breaks down. I'll keep going and then I'll explain some more. Because I think this whole thing is just insane and hilarious, because it shows where all of these people come from in their echo chamber and how their arguments are all non-arguments, and they know it. That's why they keep falling back on insults, because they got nothing. But I mean,
it's a yes or no. It's not a but. It's a yes or no.
But
it's very plain language, brother. You cannot.
Let him go ahead, Wizard. Let me talk to him.
I want to make sure that I'm on the same plane, okay? Because again, I didn't come here to start a fight. I want to understand this argument. So, I want to make sure that before I even answer that I'm on the same place, because I have read that code as well, but it's been a while. So I'm trying to remember, wasn't that specifically regarding commerce in between Washington, D.C. and the quote unquote several states?
But this is exactly the point. What you're apparently not aware of is that Title 53 reduces all interactions to commercial interactions. That's why a driver is a commercial term.
Lie, flat out lie.
Motor vehicles a commercial term. Traffic,
because it's a commercial code. Of course, it only applies to commercial because it's a commercial code.
Sure, but the fact that it's
everything else isn't a commercial code. Commercial code,
right? But the fact that it's applying to non-commercial entities and non-commercial interactions is what's concerning.
But it only applies to that because you said it does. That doesn't mean it does. It's because they were trying to do trade across state lines, and that's what they were trying to address when they wrote that code.
Right, but they're not addressing that. They're addressing every motherfucker that goes down the road, whether they're in the state or not.
According to you.
Okay.
That's just your opinion.
Is it not being applied ubiquitously?
Pull up
does anyone, well, here, let me ask you this. Let me ask just seriously, across the board.
So when the federal government defines a motor vehicle as a commercial instrument, what does that mean to you, or does it matter with the content?
All right, so I'm going to play that again. Listen to what this idiot says. Seriously, across the board.
So when the federal government defines a motor vehicle as a commercial instrument, what does that mean to you, or does it matter what?
When did that ever happen? What is he talking about? Made up nonsense that we're supposed to just accept as fact because he said it. The United States government does not define a motor vehicle as a commercial vehicle. That's not a thing. That's something that they just made up. It's meaningless because it's not anything.
The content.
All right, so if it doesn't matter, then why are there driver's licenses? Why do they exist? Why would they even be a thing?
Now what you just did, right? If we were debating, you just lost because you just appealed to fallacy. Asking me why something, I'm telling you, asking me why something exists is not proof of claim or concept. Because I'm
sorry to interrupt you, Paul, but is there anything else you need me up here for?
Sir, I thought you were hanging out and dialoguing. I didn't,
All right, now they're going to talk about something else.
You're free to leave, free to stay.
What questions you have?
Sir, you're free to go.
All right, well,
shut up. All right,
because
there's a so again, the words and terms are clear. They've been clear for hundreds and thousands of years, pretty much, right? If we go back to etymology, they don't change. I get there's a revised code and it's constantly changing. We have to use some level of discernment and common sense. We can't look at why corrupt, fraudulent defalcators do what they do, because that's illogical.
All right. And once again, I'm bringing up actual fact, right? So what is his response? Does he respond with some other fact? Or does he say
Fraudulent level of discernment? I get there's a revised code and it's constantly, we have to use some level of discernment and common sense. We can't look at why corrupt, fraudulent defalcators do what they do.
so what kind of an argument is that? What kind of an Scott Ammo, what's up? So now I could say anything and it isn't going to matter. See, this is where their whole argument and everything breaks down so badly, and it so what does he say there, right there? I can't bring up any actual factual anything because, well, that was just created by a bunch of liars and thieves and blah 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 blah. It's like, so then it doesn't matter. If no matter what I say, you're going to reject it because you don't believe it was created for anything, then what are you? You'll never learn anything. If every time anyone says anything, you just automatically poo-poo it because the people who wrote the laws wrote them as some part of some imaginary conspiracy theory to control you personally and destroy your life, like, that's not why these codes exist. But let's go on.
Because that's illogical. They're corrupt, fraudulent defalcators. Unless you're not willing to accept that premise. Do you accept the premise that the majority of public service corporations are lying, cheating, and stealing on some level?
All of them? No.
The majority of them.
Oh,
so
Peck
you're not
finally
accepting
showed
that
up.
premise
We were
that
looking
they're
for you
lying,
earlier,
cheating,
Peck.
and stealing. I've worked at a warehouse, sir. They lie, cheat, and steal. I've worked at McDonald's. They lie, cheat, and steal. I've worked at a mechanic shop. They lie, cheat, and steal.
And then
So
look
you
at
must
that
not
guy.
have a lot of life experience, is what I'm gathering.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about nothing because what are you talking about? Like, it's like you talk about me making false equivalencies, and then you bring up like some punk that you were working standing next to on the register.
Okay,
took a
sure. So
dollar out
let's
of the
forget that
register, means
example.
that
Let's
all
forget that
corporations are
example. Let's
criminals?
forget that example. Let's forget that.
So
You know
don't
what
listen
I'm
to what I'm
contending
saying,
here
just
is the
talk over
majority of
me.
culture and society are fallen beings who have no value system, principles, or ethics they actually stand on. When it comes to a few dollars, they'll forsake everything, including their future, for a little bit of come up, is what I'm saying and what I've noticed. I don't know if you've been living with the same government we've all been living with for the same, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 200 years, that continues to write up acts, bills, policies, and codes, take everybody's money at the threat of doing loss, injury, and harm, going around the world doing.
Boom. Now there's another perfect example of the kind of thing I'm talking about. And this goes back to all of the arguments that these guys and the sovereign citizens and the frauditors and the Moors all make, right? Taxes can't possibly exist to pay for the building of roads. They can't possibly exist to pay the guys who pick up your trash. They can't possibly exist to build bridges and to keep the telephone lines going. They can't possibly exist for all those reasons. The only reason they exist at all is because the government wants to use them as an excuse to rob us legally. And that's the premise. So if I don't accept that premise as a statement of fact, then I'm this horrible, terrible, evil, rotten, no good person, right? Like, wait a minute. You're making a statement of fact that has no basis in fact. Like, are there possible arguments we could have about specific tax codes and percentages and where the money's going? Sure. But that's a political debate, right? You're talking about the whole idea of tax in and of itself being a ripoff and stating it as though it were a fact and we're supposed to just believe it because you said it. Doesn't hold water at all.
doing wars they never win, and then driving us into bankruptcy and economic ruin, depression, inflation, and great
What's up, K-Bar?
depression. Because we already did the Great Depression. We did it all again the same way, right? Everybody got put with the blank on. We did the inflation deal. We printed up the money. We have no backing, and now we move over to digital, right? So it's all on time. It's all obviously a program. It's all obviously coordinated. If you can see everything for what it is, right? So again.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Real quick, I want to address this. Because Deb Beasley says, the logic of nonsense. I'm an alpha male and you're a poopy pants. Just wait until we get into the discussion about masks, and you'll see what you just said on full display. The entire panel of idiots starts going nuts on their, like, would you wear a mask? And I say yes. And immediately they're like, well, I could beat you up. Well, if there was 50 girls in line, they'd pick me over you. It's like, okay. So where are your facts and your, laws and rules and regulations regarding wearing masks? Well, I was in jail once. None of the watch. You'll see. As soon as the mask thing comes up, that's when it really falls apart and turns into a straight shit show.
And we're back to the premise. The majority of folks are corporate fascist scum who, for a few dollars, will forsake the future and all the rights and freedoms of men and women, including themselves, because they serve Molech and Mammon. They want revenue rather than righteousness.
Well, I'm sorry. I got to rewind that. Hold on a second. Check this out.
Molech and Mammon, they want fascist scum who will forsake the future and all the rights and freedoms of men and women, including themselves, because they serve Molech and Mammon.
So before he even gets into anything, he starts invoking demons and saying that what's his premise? If you pay taxes, you're a Satan worshiper? Like, what? He makes extremely wide, broad, sweeping blanket statements, states them as fact, and we're supposed to accept them as fact because he said them. And when you ask them to prove anything, either they say the laws were created by a bunch of crooks, so we can't accept them as fact anyway, or they just fall back into insults and talking stupid nonsense. Nothing they say makes any sense at all.
They want revenue rather than righteousness.
So
which is why all the United States citizen scum took a bunch of stimulus while I was telling them it's going to destroy your economy. They didn't give a fuck because the people get the government they deserve. So the government is just like the United States citizen, a cowardly, weak, insecure, fearful, overly projecting strength, right? Just like all the folks who come here and act like they have some knowledge and standing. They're know-nothing television watchers who've never stood on a motherfucking thing a day in their life. But yet somehow they think that they're entitled to rights and benefits and privileges, right? It's laughable, okay? While doing nothing or being nothing other than cowardly, weak, abdicating, lying, voting scum.
And while United States is defined as a federal corporation, the federal government under 5 CFR 575.102, and I quote, federal government means all entities of the government of the United States, including the United States Postal Service and the Postal Board of Contract Appeals. So that's telling us that the federal government means the United States and all of the corporate entities under that government, incorporated under the laws of the United States. That's what
Mr. Hezokuai.
I wanted to address another thing real quick. I thought it was so funny. Thank you, Chelsea May. Whenever he says, and this is like the third time he's done it, this, what, a secret agent man, whatever. He looks like he smells bad. Did you know, David, the Bears lost. All I know is that's depressing, and let's move on. So anyway, like I said, Secret Agent Man did this like 3 or 4 times. This is I think the second time he does it here. It's like if he says, and I quote, and accentuates the T sound at the end of quote, that all of a sudden that means that all people have to turn off their brains and accept anything that comes out of his mouth as absolute fact because he said it. You know it's true because he said it. And then when I asked them for proof or definitions or laws or anything to back up any of the things they say, what do? Oh, well, criminals and idiots and devil worshippers and insults and nonsense and no facts to back up any of their statements.
Are you aware? And then I appreciate your avid research because we need that. Please hold me accountable. If I'm wrong, then I need to update my rap. So please, when you get off here, go and immediately look up, does the state of, let's say, California have a tax identification number and a principal? Please look that up because I don't want to make the claim and be turned into a fool again like you did earlier.
Like I did earlier.
You turned me into a fool and you showed me to be wrong and debunked me. So please go look up, does the state of California or any state of have a tax identifier number and a principal? If it does, that makes it a corporation subject to commercial code, and then things start to make sense, right?
All right. So let's take that and say that that's absolutely true. Okay. Now, again, I don't get into this with them because they, don't listen anyway. But I just want to address like what he just said. Well, if they do that, then they're subject to commercial code. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but do any states have any industry within them? Do they engage in any commercial activity? Like, are there any for-profit organizations that exist within states? And if so, wouldn't that make them have to follow commercial code? Like, if you're a state and you want to engage in commercial activity, wouldn't you have to be bound by commercial code? But of course, these guys aren't going to think of that. But you just spent like that is a thing, right? But leading up to that, you spent 15 minutes doing ad hominems, calling names, and
no, that's not an ad
false
hominem. That's
accusations.
see, this is the thing, right? You have to
calling
understand
people fascist, criminal, thieves.
You have to understand.
So now watch, pay close attention. What he's going to do now is he's going to say that his insults are not, ad hominems, this or that, whatever. Basically, his argument is that his insults aren't insults because they're true. So calling all lawyers and all government officials and all politicians and everyone who isn't you and doesn't agree with you a liar and a fascist and a thief and all these horrible things is okay because you decided that it's a fact. And he's going to say, it's not an ad hominem, it's a description. And you're an asshole. Like, what the hell, guy?
Understand that you have to understand the difference between ad hominem and a description of a condition. Calling a use.
No, that's an opinion.
Well, I can define it and explain it and demonstrate it, and I've experienced it. So it's actually a fact, right?
Hey,
because
Paul.
I watched over the last 2 to 3 years as everyone gave up their natural rights to follow policy off of a mandate, and a mandate means request in civil law. No one seemed to care. And if they did care and they know, they're not willing to stand. Right. So they're a bunch of fucking cowards and frauds.
Well, this is the
Did
first
you wear
time
your
I ever
Do you
face
understand that? Do you understand that under U.S. code, everyone's subject to death or 20 years at this point, sir?
No.
As you talk about your feelings, do you understand if we hit the U.S. code, you're all guilty of traitorous treason, and I could have you hung and put in prison for 20 years?
All right. Now, you want to talk about he's already going off the deep end, and just watch. It's only like another minute till the mask thing happens, and then it really goes off the rails. But right now, he is so far out into fantasy land. He just said that, did you know that right now I could have you hung and as a traitor? What the hell are you talking about? What is he talking? Does anyone even understand what this idiot is trying to say? Like, that makes about as much sense as that's traitorous treason, right? Exactly. I mean, holy crap. I'd rather watch Daryl Brooks debate delete loss. I'm telling you, this is like, wow, man. Wow.
Because you did not uphold the law of the land, bunch of soy lord cowards.
Hey,
I'm
What the
not.
hell are
man.
you talking about?
I'm not. I'm not.
See, look at that. I didn't even do anything. And he's already saying that we're soy lords and cowards and this and that. Look, where did you get that information from? Where does he get his
Well, what am I talking about? He doesn't know what I'm talking about.
Hey,
right?
Paul,
Because
he
it's
doesn't know
not
what I'm
something I'm
talking
ever
do his
talking
research
to.
and find out. He's rather.
Oh,
he'd
Okay,
rather
so I'll
research
ask you a
what?
question. So I'll ask you a question because I jumped the gun a little bit. You're right, sir. During the last 2 and 3 years, did you stand for natural rights unequivocally and get put in a cage like I and others did?
Okay, so he just admit that he's been in jail. All right. So here, this is what's up, Weeds Gador. So this is where he lays the seed for what's about to come and where the shit's gonna hit the fan and everything's gonna go completely off the rails. And it's gonna turn into a dumpster fire. So this is the moment where he lays the groundwork for that. So let's go back for a second and say again what I was kind of trying to explain to you guys earlier. The second he said that, I know exactly what he's talking about. Okay. And then they're going to accuse me of playing stupid and pretending to be an idiot and this and that. But here's the thing. When he says, well, were you following natural law and therefore being locked in prison like I was because you were standing up for your natural rights? I know what he means. What he's trying to say is that he went in somewhere, some business that required a mask, didn't wear a mask, was trespassed, and then got arrested for trespassing. That's what he's trying to describe. But I cannot accept that premise. I can't just say, yes, this is why I pretended like I didn't know what he was talking about. Because what he said was standing up for natural rights. So if I say yes, then I'm agreeing that asking someone to wear a mask is a violation of our natural rights. I'm not going to accept that premise because it's an insane premise. It's ridiculous. Second, the fact that he was trespassed and then got arrested for trespassing, and him saying I got thrown in jail for not wearing see, that's the thing. The way he paints this picture is such a false narrative that, of course, he wasn't arrested for not wearing a mask, but he's trying to make it sound like he was arrested for standing up for his natural rights. In other words, you didn't wear a mask, you got trespassed, you got arrested for trespassing, right? But that's not what he's saying. What he's saying is that I was standing up for my natural rights and got arrested for that. In other words, he's saying he got arrested for not wearing a mask. None of those things are true. None of those things ever happened. He was arrested for trespassing. He was trespassed, yes, because he didn't follow the policy of the corporation, of the private business that he was in at the time. But he isn't saying any of those things. He's building it like it's this completely different scenario. So I'm not going to accept that because that's not true. He's taking something that did happen, but twisting the words to make it sound like this thing. It's no different than the situation last week when I had Rogue Nation and these other guys in here talking about the legally blind guy with the walking stick, who, again, we can go back and forth as to whether or not the cops were wrong in that scenario. And that's fine. If they were wrong, they were wrong. Again, I'm not going to stick up for bad cops. I never have. I never will. But when you're telling me, hey, I have a video of a blind guy walking with a cane, and all of a sudden the cops just grab him and lock him up for having a cane, and then you actually watch the video and none of those things happen in it, okay, maybe the cops were wrong with what did happen, but the picture you're painting is completely different than what happened. If the cops are wrong, why don't you just say what happened? especially if they were wrong. Fine, let's actually watch what really happened and see what the cops did wrong. But no, you still have to paint the picture as if it's something different. You can't say, I walked into a business, blatantly disobeyed their rules, and blatantly trespassed when they asked me to leave. You're not going to say that. You're going to say, I was standing up for my natural rights and was arrested for standing up for my rights. What are you? Oh, of course, you're Rosa Parks now, right? You're, what do they call that when people remember stuff that they forgot and then they think it's the Mandela effect? Now you're Nelson Mandela? Like, give me a break, dude. You ain't no civil rights activist. You're just somebody who loves breaking the law and is proud of it. Which natural rights are you referring
The
to?
right to have a face, the
Face
right to have
diapers.
the right, excuse me, Lou. The
Sorry.
right to have a face and breathe air.
I had my face and breathed air every day of my life. Like, what are you talking
Okay, so where you were the last 2 or 3 years, they weren't fining you and putting you in jail for not
Never
covering
been
your
fined,
face?
never been put in jail. What? I've never heard of that.
Okay, so he
don't
doesn't
play
understand.
stupid.
He's not living in the same world the rest of us all around the world, Lou's from Canada.
See that? You see that? This exactly is what I'm saying. Painting this non-existent picture and we're supposed to accept it as fact. So wait a minute. You weren't being arrested and fined every day for not wearing a mask? No. Never been fined for anything. Never been arrested for anything. Well, you're lying. You don't know what you're saying. No, I've never been fined or arrested for anything. Well, I'm almost 50 years old. I can't literally say that none of that has ever happened. Let's not go there, shall we? But my point is that he like paints this picture, this broad stroke, blanket statement that everybody in the entire world is being fined and arrested every day for not wearing a mask. And I've never had that happen to me. And no one I know has ever had that happen to them. And you'll see in a few minutes, they're going to be telling me that I need to start hanging out with criminals more often. Why would I want to? What's the Jewish redneck prepper? All right. I love that. Shalom. All right. Hey. Let's see. Yeah, useless word salad. It is. Dawson, what's up? Did I say that to you? It looks like we got a little bit more people in here. Who else didn't I say hello to yet? Let me go back a little bit. Let's see. We got K Far in the house, of course. Chelsea May, what's up? Lou Vaughn, yeah. Dawson D. Trana, hello. Let's see. Unclean Hands, Forgive It, Jerry. Jewish Redneck Prepper. Now that I actually look at your name, I kind of like that because you got your preppers and you got your rednecks and you got I'm a Jewish redneck prepper. I just like the way that you group that all together. That's pretty cool. Christina Probst, what's up? Dawson Detrana, what's up? They were locking people up over the world for leaving their house. Well, that's good. I've never been locked up for leaving my house. Okay, Benjamin, I actually say that in a minute. I'm like, well, why don't you go shop somewhere else then? Like, what's the problem? They're not allowed to have the, and you'll see in a minute, they're going to try to make the argument that, again, I'm just supposed to accept it as true because they said it, that private businesses are not legally allowed to have their own rules. Nikki Red, what's up? Yeah. What's up, Nikki? How's it going? Just putting the little one on the bus. Oh, I'll tell you what, it's pretty cool. Talking about putting little ones on the bus. For those of you who follow my channel, you already know that me and the got like a 50-50 custody thing going on with the kids. So I had them over the summer. And then I just a couple of weeks ago brought them back to Wisconsin to have them with her. And so my little one just started school out there. And he was so scared, like, oh, I'm going to go back to school. What if nobody likes me because I've been in Florida and they don't remember me, blah, 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 blah. And like, he called me yesterday. He's like, oh, I got so many friends. I love it. It's so great. I'm so happy that everything turned out okay with him. How many frauditors does it take to change a light bulb? None. Oh, I will, Chelsea. Thank you. In fact, literally, Out There Associates, what's up? I'll tell you what, Chelsea. This is literally true. Friday night, I took the dog for a walk, and then I stopped, and I'm like, wait a minute. I owe you a hug from Chelsea May, like legit. And then I stopped and I gave her a big hug. Like I promised I'd give you a cuddle for her. But yeah, let's go back to watching these idiots be dumb and how their arguments don't hold up. And again, that we're starting to get into the math stuff. It just buckle your seatbelts because it's about to get crazy. And I want you to really focus on the legitimate, logical, legal points that they make to prove their point. In fact, you might be able to count them on half a finger. I don't know. Let's see.
The other is Australia. The man's from China. We're all in the same world, but somehow Soy Lord here is not living in the same world we're all living.
Soy Lord, what is
Hey,
that?
man, it's very sensitive, man.
It's an ad hominem. That's an ad
Oh,
hominem, oddly enough, still applies because it describes a condition. It's like saying a broken, used VCR. It's not an ad hominem attack on the VCR. It's a description of the condition. It's accurate.
He's
Paul,
asking
can I-
a simple question. Did you wear a diaper here
A diaper?
here?
Never. No.
on your face?
Why would I put a diaper on my face? That
Oh,
doesn't
come
make
on.
sense.
Don't
Those
play
are for babies.
stupid.
He's playing games. Goodbye,
No, I
sir.
don't
I'm
know
going to
what
let
you're
you go
talking
now
about.
because
Fuck, he's playing stupid. He's playing stupid.
Well, he's not playing stupid. He is stupid, but he's being purposely
And he's
obtuse
ugly
right now.
See? Right there. Right there. They're being extraordinarily disingenuous by purposely going out of their way to refer to a simple mask as a diaper, but I'm the one who's wrong for refusing to refer to something as something that it is in fact not. Right? A face mask is not a diaper. So the fact that I will not accept that false concept means that I'm the bad guy, that I'm disingenuous, that I'm fake. Like, no, it means that you guys have an agenda clearly that you're going out of your way to try and push. For what purpose? To support their false narrative.
Because he knows what we're talking about. He won't
Right,
address
but you're
it
not
directly
telling. You're
because
not.
he knows
but no,
he's a
you're being
fucking slave.
disingenuous.
We
and
cannot
you're
say it
pushing the
here.
false
Cover
narrative
your face.
intentionally.
Did you cover your face based on the policy at any time over the last 2 and 3 years?
When I was entering a building that required a face mask.
There you go.
You're
You're
a
a
bitch.
policy
Don't say
slave.
the
You
word.
don't
See?
give a fuck about the natural rights of this land or the
What does that have to do
constitutional
with
rights.
natural right? What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Look, now this is so insane to me. Like, look at this right here. The second I said that, this guy here is shaking his butt at the camera. This guy, in a few minutes, he starts literally crying over it. Like, I mean, look at their faces. They're like, this is the only dude here. He didn't say a word the whole time. I don't know anything about him, but he's like the only cool one in this whole group. But it's like me saying that I wore a mask once is holy crap. Let me rewind that for a second and watch their reactions. It's like I said, they're acting like I told them I just raped their sister or something.
About the natural
Don't say the word.
give a fuck about the natural rights of this land or the
What does that have to do
constitutional
with
rights.
natural rights?
I just told you. You believe in your haze that a building has a right on the land known as United States to overthrow the law of the land because they're doing business.
What?
They don't.
What are
They
you
actually
talking
have
about? So
what am
why
I
don't you
talking
walk in
about?
there
You don't
naked and take
know.
a dump on the floor? You have a natural right to poop.
So
Paul.
taking a dump on the floor is equivalent to me not covering my face and breathing air.
Well, you're saying that they're
I'm saying
denying
you
your
walk
natural
into a
rights. You have a
building
natural right
and
to take a poop.
that's
So why can't you
ridiculous
do that?
logic. You're an
And yours
illogical.
isn't?
No,
He,
it's
he
not.
believes
No,
what's
wait,
coming
wait.
out of his mouth is
Look,
poop.
wait.
Defecating on the floor
Wait.
of a public service
This is a violation
accommodation.
of my natural rights.
Yeah,
Paul, I can help
I have
you.
a right to have an
what way?
uncovered face and breathe air.
You
Paul,
can
I
breathe there
can
with
help
it.
you.
Look, every doctor who's ever done a surgery, we die.
I'm
from
not
suffocation during
interested
the
in your
surgery.
doctor cult. I'm telling you, my God-given
No, I'm
right.
saying in life.
Let me.
So I say, okay, you have a supposedly factual argument, right? No facts behind it, of course. And again, this isn't getting into because I think it was it Salacious that brought it up, something about, well, I don't know if masks work or not. But the point is, they're saying that asking you to wear a mask is a violation of your natural rights, right? So, yeah, I know and I understand that when I said, well, then why don't you just take a poop on the floor, that's an extreme example, but it's the point. The foundation of the argument is that we have a natural right not to wear a mask. Well, I have a natural right to take a poo if I have to. So why can't I just walk in the store and do that on the floor? Like, if you, and they always do that. It's like, if your argument breaks down to natural rights, no, it doesn't. It breaks down to, you want to argue about masks because that's the thing that people argue about nowadays for no apparent reason other than they have to be stupid. And then when I bring up the doctors, does he address my point? Because he's saying that if you wear a mask, you can't breathe. So my response is, well, if that was true, then how can a doctor doing a 9-hour surgery with a mask on the whole time not suffocate and die because it cut off his oxygen supply, right? So instead of addressing that, what does he say? Doctors are just a cult and I'm not going to go with the cult. So how in any way does that address my point that wearing the mask doesn't cut off your oxygen supply? It doesn't, because there is no argument, because they just make up stuff and we're supposed to believe it because they said it.
Ask this boy.
No. In your pathetic life where other
Let me
men
ask this
run
little
your.
girl boy.
Shut up, everyone else. I'm sick of it. You know the deal. It's the same fucking deal every time. The soy lord chimpanzee in an outfit comes up. Yes, that's name calling. I'm purposely doing that because you've already demonstrated yourself to be a coward. You're a fucking coward. You're a fucking coward.
You lie blatantly about laws that you misquote.
Your neck is cocking now because you got the spirit. Your neck is cocking now because you got the spirit of your mama. You got the spirit of your mama.
Paul, can I try?
Your microphone is down now. Your microphone is down now, sir. No one can hear you because you're starting to neck cock. That's a move we've seen many times when folks get agitated because you got a feminine spirit of your mama, right? That's why when you first came in here, the first thing you did was allude to homosexual activity. And we laughed about that and moved on. But that's subconsciously what you're all about: domination, control, and submission to other men. Okay?
Calls you a liar.
Shut the fuck. Bye, Lou. Bye, because you can't govern yourself like most of the slaves. That's a common theme with you. Can't shut your fucking mouth. Okay? When I ask you over and over again. So, much like this slave has to follow policy in every building he walks into, when you come into this broadcast, you got to follow policy, right? Part of the game. So I'm sure the soy lord doesn't mind because this is my communication. This is my broadcast. So he's in service to any other man who sets policy. So I've set policy. So of course he will abide for everybody's safety, right? Because he's a disempowered, impotent coward who has no soul, spirit, heart, mind of his own, he will unwaveringly do what he's told as long as they tell you it's for safety. That'll make false equivalencies that me not covering my face is equivalent to me defecating in the middle of a room that we're all co-creating it, because he's a disingenuous, duplicitous, fork-tongued snake, and you can tell it by the smirk on his face. See, they all have the same smug, smirking, cowardly sort of grin like Artie's corporate fiction. You heard what he said. We don't know Artie's corporate fiction because he's a smug smirker like this guy. They're really into policy and code and following other men.
And also, that's not what I said, because they all like to ignore everything and take everything out of context, because that's what they do, right? The whole thing started with, and it was kind of an icebreaker, and they chuckled at first, but the whole thing was they were talking about this guy who Paul said, like, he was yelling at this guy for going behind his back and going to Artie's corporate fiction channel, like he was betraying him by checking out somebody else's content. And then I said, like, when I first came in, I'm like, I don't know what's going on with you guys. Like, is this some kind of a lover's quarrel or something? And I said, and I know Artie's corporate fiction wasn't involved in that. And he's saying, like, I'm trying to say that because I guess he did debate Artie's corporate fiction at one point. So he's trying to paint like I was saying that never happened. No, I'm saying that Artie's corporate fiction was never your boyfriend. Like, but of course he's not going to even understand that.
Couldn't possibly know them. No, I do know. You're all the same. I've interacted with you. You're a bunch of punk cowards. Now you're going to go to writing stuff down, right? Because you just want to be looked at. You just want someone to come look at you like the pudgy, soy-ridden chimpanzee in a shirt that you appear to be. You don't care that you've embarrassed yourself, degraded yourself in this country, the spirit, the God, the future destiny of all of us. Long as you can write something down and have your pudgy face and incoherent ramblings that you're writing down be seen, that's all that matters. So I'm going to turn. He had to alter it. He's so stupid. He wrote a message down, showed it, and then had to correct it because he couldn't even communicate effectively writing down 2 words, the chimpanzee. Look at the chimpanzee in his enclosure. Wrote down a message, showed it, then had to write down the rest of it because he can't even communicate with 2 words on paper, right? He's got too much soy in his blood, as you can see there. Isn't it evident in the facial structure, the body structure, the effeminate affect, the way that he presents, how he genuflects to other men and their power.
Facts,
right?
And still not one fact comes out of your mouth, not one.
Can I try explaining what you said, Paul, in a different way?
Go ahead, Mr. Talcott. Man, you're such a loving guy, and I'm so rude and abrasive. It's important that we have accurate representation here of the facts. Go ahead, Mr. Talcott.
Everything you said is true, but sometimes we just got to have things explained differently. So I didn't catch dude's name, but you had a contradiction earlier when Paul was talking about the corruption. There's corruption at every single level, and you kind of blew over that. Huh?
Humanity? Or only the people that you guys don't like?
Well, let's
all of us, fuckface.
Let's not
humanity. Let's
tell you what.
I'm saying. No facts, just name calling.
Tell you what, let's not make any
no facts and name calling because you're so fucking boring and inept. I have to make it interesting and entertaining. That's why you're here. Because broken system, broken trust is insufferable and boring. And so are you.
True. I agree with that.
Yes, and so here's what is obvious and in front of our eyes. Okay, we've got corruption at every level of government. We've got corruption in every business. Every worker is a slave, and nobody fucking knows what's going on. Okay, now slave might be offensive, but it's an accurate term. And sometimes facts are ugly. Huh?
Slavery is illegal in this country.
So you would think, but it's actually
you're obvious a slave to the food.
And see, this is the thing. This is where
I'm not dying. Can I? Hey, here, let me paint a picture though, because seriously, like,
With
you
whose
guys are
brush and
having
whose
fun,
paint?
obviously, whatever, and I'm just having fun with you. But because see, I
No,
can't see
we're
the
having
names on
fun
the
with
screen
you,
right now.
brother.
You're the one who's talking. You're the one that I wanted to
No,
address.
let's be clear, right? Let's be clear. I want to speak for me. I don't take on these folks. Don't do a lot of them. I don't know them individually, and some of them maybe do or don't do what I do in my life. So I'm gonna speak for me. I'm having fun with you because you have an ego that has to be checked. I know you're going to think I'm projecting, right? This might be my ego. Great. I'm doing what's true and what's right. I'm living it. I'm sacrificing for folks like you who won't do that work. So I'm playing with you so we can like establish how ridiculous this all has become, that two grown men are even talking about the idea of us choosing our own destiny instead of having corrupt officials continue to choose our destiny. So that that's part of my method to my madness, right? Because I do love you
but
as a being, but I don't like what you do. I take what you do and
he has
how you
no
live to
idea
be
what
a
I do.
direct affront
But you
on
don't
me
know,
and folks like
he
me,
doesn't know
right?
anything about me Well, in any but way.
it's funny because in what you just said, you basically said that you're fighting for my ability to just do whatever I want, and like, so
You don't want
what
that.
am I doing that's not me doing whatever I want?
I just told you that's the thing. See, you don't know how to think for yourself, so you want to cover your face. So when someone
Somebody else
tells you
could
to do it, so when someone tells you to do it, you just do it. I don't want to, so I don't have to. If you want to,
Well,
you
that's your
can.
problem. That's your
No,
freedom. of opinion.
it's your problem that you've made my problem because you and folks like you want to force me to do what I don't want to do because you don't mind doing it
I
because
didn't
you're
force you
mind
to do
controlled.
anything. What did I ever force you to do?
Well,
Well,
you
if-
already said you're for the system that enforces its will on folks based on policy. We have natural rights. We're not adherent to 12 million policy and codes unless you're going to overthrow.
No. You're misquoting me now. That's
No, I'm
completely
telling you that's
Why else
what I'm
would they have a
saying.
driver's
wrong. Right,
license?
that's your opinion, but I'm talking about
No,
facts.
that's the facts of the matter. You can't establish
I
it without using
support-
force. You can't
I-
establish your way without using force, so it's not
No.
voluntary.
I'm talking about a private business having the right.
It's not.
to
There's
no
your.
shirt,
There
no
again.
shoes,
There
no
is your.
service, gotta
There
wear a
is your
mask.
ineptness. Is what I'm telling you, sir.
All right. So now pay attention to this. What's going to happen here? So he's talking about laws and policies that are forcing you to wear a mask, right? He's still on this even 2 years later. So I say, I'm talking about a private business that has a rule that they don't want anyone without a mask to go into their business. So now he's going to turn around and say there is no such thing as a private business. And he's going to say, well, what makes you think it's a private business? Because you saw this on TV, because you did this. Because it's like, well, I mean, I don't need to go through all this research and all this stuff to find out what the legal definition of a private business is, to know that if I walk into Walmart, it's not the same thing as walking into a public park, right? They always love to make the distinction between public places and private places. And now this guy's going to make the argument that there is no such thing as a private place. So it's like, well, if a private place, it doesn't exist, then your house isn't a private place. Like, yeah, exactly. The louder I say it, the more true it is. Like, come on, you morons. Give me a break.
Sir, it's not a private business. Go to the law. Where did you get that from? That it's a private
I'm not a
business. Where
private
did you get-
business.
Where did you get that understanding? Where did you get that understanding?
Once again, if it's not a private business, why can't you just walk in there and poop on the floor?
Where did you get the understanding that it's a quote unquote under the law and legal system called a private business? Where'd you get that if not from TV and all your little friends and family? Where'd you get the
How about life
idea
experience?
that under the
Nobody's into private
UCC,
businesses
then what is
every
it?
day.
So admit you don't know what the fuck it's considered because you never
I don't
did
know
the
what a
damn
private
research.
business is.
You don't define it. Define it. Look it up now
Can
and
I
read it.
walk into
Define
your
it.
house? Can I walk into your
My
house and
house
just
is
go on your
not
couch without your
business. You
permission?
just did it
You
again.
just said
what
it's not a
everyone
business.
does.
You just said it's not a business.
My house is private property. A
So is
business
there
open. A business open to the public is not
for a
equivalent to my.
specific purpose, to purchase goods and services.
And yes, so
Public
it is
accommodation.
deemed.
For that, to get the hell out. It's
So
not
it
a
is.
park.
If I go
No, see, you
outside-
are the folks who would have had black people not be allowed in at one point because
That's
everyone made
against the
policy.
law.
That's against the law.
It was made into policy because fuck faces like you couldn't think for yourself. So men like
No,
me had to
because the
come along and
Republicans
say,
stood up and changed the law.
now I have to cut you down because you are spewing nonsense and won't.
Am I wrong, guys? Am I wrong that he just completely took what he is doing, spouting nonsense, and accused me of spouting nonsense? Like, isn't that all he's doing? Oh.
Check your ego to be teachable. You can't define a private business because it doesn't exist under the commercial code and federal code. What does exist is are you going to speak now? Oh, he's going to speak. He doesn't want to hear what the U.S. code says and UCC.
You've already quoted it twice.
Well, what does it say then?
We've already been over that.
No, it's a private business. We haven't been over it.
Well, if I talk to you the way you talk to me, I'd say it says that you're an idiot.
No, it doesn't say that. It literally says you're an idiot because everything you're saying is at odds with what it is written there.
So Walmart is a public place. So I could go in there and poop on the floor in the main.
Why do you keep going back to this extreme, disingenuous
example? Because you're saying it's public. Because you're saying it's public.
Pooping on the floor is a direct threat to everybody's wellness, dummy. It's discernible and demonstrable.
So what gives them the right to ask you to leave if you do that?
Because it's a direct threat defined. Here's where code comes in that you don't care about, even though you say you care about.
You don't follow codes.
I don't, but I'm holding stupid slaves like you bound to it because you do. Because you do.
You're not bound to it, so go poop on the floor.
I don't need to poop on the floor. That's not in my regular day-to-day common law existence.
Neither is going out of your way purposely not to wear a mask just to prove a point.
I wasn't doing it to not prove a point. I have a belief that is detrimental to my spiritual development. My
shop in a store that doesn't have that sign.
We don't overthrow the law of the land because you don't understand it.
That's not the law. It's the company policy of.
Do you want to go to the U.S. code and federal corporation definitions that govern all individual public service accommodations, or do you want to keep telling me?
You want to talk legit? Let's talk legit. Tell me the exact.
I've been begging you, sir, but you keep telling me about what you think and feel, and it's erroneous.
What's up, Unicorn? So, let's talk facts, because I keep telling you to talk facts. So
yeah, let's talk facts. You keep telling me to talk facts because you're disingenuous, but when we go to talk facts, you deflect from the facts.
Okay, tell us the law.
See, this is why this is so hilarious to me. It's like, he says, I say, well, why don't you talk facts? And he says, well, every time I bring up facts, you deflect from them. You guys are listening to this. You tell me I'm wrong. All of the facts that he's quoting are just him spouting nonsense. So, of course, I'm deflecting it because it's nonsense. He's not saying anything that's true. He's just saying, this is the thing. Oh, this is one of the reasons why I get driven so nuts by these people. The quote-unquote facts that I bring up are fake laws that were created by corrupt people, and they don't matter. So even if I do say something that's a fact, you're not going to accept it. But if you say something that's just some random sovereign citizen nonsense that you pulled out of the Mark Stevens script that has been debunked over and over and over, and we all know is bull, I'm supposed to accept your facts, which are made up, but you can't even consider mine, which actually are based on fact? I mean, it's no different than the argument, again, 2 + 2 = 4, right? It's like, if I say that, it's like, well, that's not true. That's just a conspiracy by mathematicians to trick people. So you're going to take my actual factual statement and disregard it because you don't believe the people who made it. But then when you say, no, 2 + 2 = 16, now I'm just throwing your facts away because I don't accept that. I don't accept it because it's not true. Like, why should I accept you saying something just because you say it?
To cut you down because you won't shut up and you're boring and insufferable and inept.
Show
Like
us
many
the law
people.
that says you have to have a driver's license. Show me that. I'll kiss your ass.
Oh, now he thinks
Well,
he's
he
David
doesn't know
Allen
the
Coe.
difference between law
Well,
and
they wouldn't
policy and
put it
code.
out there if he didn't.
He
need
doesn't
it.
know the difference between original public law and policy and code set by municipal corporation. He doesn't know the difference because he wants to talk facts, but when we talk facts and definitions, he deflects.
I've proven there is no such thing as a driver license per the law. Per the
Then how
law,
come they
you
exist? How
have a
come I have
driver's
one in my
license. You have
pocket?
to write
How
a
come
They
it
don't
exists,
how do
right?
I have one?
So he's going to say one day, how come there's like wires hooked into my brain if it's not what we all need to do? How come I
Well,
have
that's
it
devil
and how
stuff.
come
See,
it's
you
in
keep
my
going
brain?
back to like fantasy land.
No,
like,
let's just have you shut up and go back to the definitions if you care about the truth. So do you actually
you
care
don't care
about the truth?
All you do is call
Okay,
names.
I don't care. So I'm begging you to go back to what you say you want but won't do and won't
Okay.
and won't acknowledge, right?
All right, so again,
So we
show me
already
the
looked at
law
U.S. Code
that says that
definition
you can get
1A.
arrested for not wearing a
United,
mask.
can you be quiet? United
Yeah,
States
because you're not
Code.
going to answer that. Okay.
It's a
Yeah, so you
fallacious,
can't answer because there is
loaded.
no answer. Because
It's
not real.
yeah. You asked a question
It
that's
doesn't exist.
unanswerable. Congratulations.
Right,
You
because
asked
it
an
doesn't
unanswerable
exist.
question.
You're making an argument that
No,
they're
because
arresting you for not
something
wearing a mask
exists
when that's
makes
no
it
such
true
thing.
and correct. Because something exists makes it true and correct by definition. Because
Well,
you
then
do
the
it.
driver's license exists because I got one.
Great. And that makes it like applicable to me, true and correct and definable
Well, every
based
state
on
has
your
their
feelings.
own. DMV has their
Yeah,
own.
it's all
No,
based on your feelings. You
every
have it,
state
you
has
do it,
their-
so it
But
must be
But how
true and
come
right.
every
But
single
you
state
can't
has a
explain it
driver's
and
license
define it.
code?
Are you
And
going
how
to go
come
back?
every state
Are you
has a
going to allow
driver's
us or are
license
you
code?
going to keep deflecting? Are you going to allow us to define a
Well,
public
I mean, if
service?
you would do something other
Are
than call
you
names and
going to
actually say
allow
stuff.
us? Now I have to mute you because you're trying to filibuster and talk over me because you know you're wrong. You know you stepped into somewhere where you're not prepared to actually put up an argument. Every time you lean back like that, your stomach jiggles and wriggles, and we get a great shot of what you're really about, right? Sitting there all day, decaying in your own ruminescence, right? With your light up headphones as you play
Now look at me
StarCraft and World of
advertising my
Warcraft
book,
and
and they
tell
don't
me
even
about how
realize
policy
it.
governs us all. And what makes it real and true is you do it. Because you wouldn't do something if
Plugging
it
my
didn't
book,
make
and they don't
sense,
even
right,
realize
sir?
it.
Right? You're just too smart for that. You're smarter than the rest of us. So you must be really smart, right? Because you wouldn't do
College
anything like the
boy.
rest of the dumb, soy-filled, estrogenic slaves
College.
with man boobs. You wouldn't do something that don't make any sense, right?
Can I just
As
read
you
the
talk
room
to
on this
yourself,
guy?
no, because we're going to now define for the soy lord what a public service accommodation is. So he can go back to all of his other estrogenic community friends.
See, no facts,
Absolutely,
no
absolutely. But
of
it's true and
anything,
correct,
just
sir. You're
calling me
exemplifying
fat
it.
and
You're
being stupid, but
exemplifying
not
it. You're
actually making any
exemplifying it.
points.
But I'm getting to it. You're exemplifying everything
Make a
I'm
point. Now
saying to
listen.
be true
Go
and
ahead.
correct.
Make a point.
Okay, so under the federal code, this is all from my memory. You don't like even go to look at it. So I have to then memorize it to tell folks who won't look at it. Under the federal code and UCC, it's deemed a public service accommodation. Okay. It has to be adherent to the UCC and the federal code. It's not considered private property like a dwelling. It's considered a public service accommodation. It's there for the service and whim of the people. There's something called ADA regulations.
It's there for the service and whim of the people. So by that logic, if I open a McDonald's, I'm not there to sell hamburgers. I'm there at the service and whim of the people because it's a business, which according to them exists for the service and whim of the people. So if somebody comes in there and demands that I sell them a TV, even though it's a restaurant, the people want a TV and I'm at their whim. They keep talking about us being slaves, but they want us to be their slaves. They walk into a business, you do what they told them because they told you to do it because it's their public property. Like this guy's taken the whole Frauditor argument to a whole nother level. He's on sovereign citizen territory, right? Like there is no such thing as private property except for my home. Don't you come into my home. But there's no such thing as a private business. the American Dental Association regulations, right? This guy's going nuts, man. So as you'll see, it gets worse. Like getting back to them, just have no argument and getting into insults and stuff. Well, here, check it. You'll see what I'm talking about.
There's something called religious exemptions. You might want to look into those. They're codified, UCC, federal code. A being does not have to do something that he deems to be a threat to his spiritual development or biological development. It doesn't matter what any other professional deems to be true and untrue. That is a philosophical, axiomatic certainty under the precepts of law in a republic, of the people, by the people, for the people.
Okay. So again, what is he? Yeah, it gets worse. So what is he saying? If you break down the illogical logic in his nonsensical brain, what is he saying there? Really? What he's saying is that hold on, let me go back for a second because I really want to break this down.
There's something called ADA, public service accommodation. It's there for the service and whim of the people. There's something called ADA regulations. There's something called religious exemptions. You might want to look into those. They're codified, UCC, federal code. A being does not have to do something that he deems to be a threat to his spiritual development or biological development. It doesn't matter what any other professional deems to be true and untrue. That is a philosophical, axiomatic certainty under the precepts of law in a republic, of the people, by the people, for the people. You cannot create businesses, subject them to corrupt policy, force everyone to do your will at the whim of doing loss, injury, and harm as a consequence if they don't, and then claim it's righteous. You can advise and suggest, which is what mandate means. It's a request under Roman civil law, but I don't have to follow. You can giggle and laugh all you want.
So why am I giggling and laughing? Well, let me tell you. What he's saying there, and again, this is why none of his arguments hold up at all. What he's saying there is, I mean, really, what are we talking about? What is he actually saying? He's saying that you cannot force me to wear a mask. Okay, so I own a business. I put a sign on the door saying masks required. Okay. You don't have to go into that store, right? He's saying that they're forcing you to wear a mask. In other words, in his head, which obviously doesn't function properly, if I put a sign on the door that says masks required, that's the equivalent to me grabbing you, putting you in a headlock, and forcing a mask onto your face, whether you like it or not. Nobody's forcing you to wear a mask. Don't shop there. Shop somewhere else. This is America. Go somewhere else if you don't like it. Problem solved.
You're showing exactly who and what you are, but try to keep
Nobody's
the
forcing
demon
you
under
to do
control. I
anything.
see it there. You go to laugh and giggle, then you snap back because you realize the demon is taking over you, right? Because every time I go to talk the truth and release you folks from your bondage and your legion, you start acting out because the demon has a hold of you. The feminine spirit of the whore of Babylon demon has a hold of you. So you rebuke truth and authoritarian male and masculine influence that comes directly from the creator. You reject it and rebuke it all, and you go to laughing and giggling because you don't give a fuck about what's true and what's right. You don't care about yourself and your future. And if we let you, you'll take our rights and freedom and our future. But we ain't going to let you, scum. And if you ever, right, you ever try to enact physically what these folks have written down, I'm going to deal with you. Or someone like me is going to deal with you. So that's what I'd respect. I'd respect if you'd go ahead and go all the way and start acting out on all the things you want other men to force on other people for you. Why don't you do it, punk coward? And then we're going to see what
when are you going to say something?
I already said it. You didn't listen. Go look up public accommodation under UCC and federal code. When you do that and read it and find out you're a fucking dope, then you'll come back to me.
15-minute diatribe of insults.
Are we done now, sir? Are we done now, sir? You don't give a fuck about the words and terms, the law of the land. You don't care about the definition.
No, you don't, because you don't talk about that. You just.
Well, are you going to pull them up and read it to us? Pull it up. You have 4 devices there because you're a soy lord. I know you play video games. I know you don't leave that room. I know you haven't changed that shirt in 4 days.
So
he
go
does
ahead.
better than video
You're
games.
hilarious,
You
dude.
look back at his history. He was
Oh,
into
it's not
toys.
hilarious.
He
It's
was
sad
into
and
sports.
pathetic.
He
It's not
just pleased
hilarious.
his interest.
Hold
Man,
on, Mr. Wizard. You know I love you. It's not
you
hilarious. You're
talk so
sad and
much without
pathetic.
saying anything.
That's fine.
funny.
But everyone here who can listen, hear, and see and feel, they know what I'm saying is true, and they're going to verify that, right? But you are inept. You're in your own world. It's been given to you. You're in a false sense of security, and you're pathetic. You're a pathetic example. If we went back 200 years and I took you in front of the townspeople, the women would throw things at you and laugh at you. Not even the men. The women would throw things at you and laugh at you because you're a pathetic example of a masculine expression from top to fucking bottom.
Can I just?
You can't
can I
govern
address
yourself
what's
from
written all
top
over
to
his
bottom.
face?
You can't even close your fucking mouth and govern what you put in it, fat boy. You're a pathetic example from top to bottom of a masculine expression. You have no discipline and no will, and it will be your undoing.
When it comes to the psychology of things, I put
whole
a
time we've been
link to
talking,
his
how
channel
many
in the chat,
Insults
so
did
you
I
can look
chat?
up his channel
I'm
and
gonna
see
let
how
you
his
go
work
now
is.
because you don't give a fuck about the truth, okay, little boy? I'm gonna
Say
let you go.
something
now.
that's true, and I will.
I already did. Go look up the three things I
come
mentioned that
here to
everyone
try
else.
and- if I
You
can,
came here to try to position and you failed because you're a pathetic, duplicitous, disingenuous coward who's
all right, now this is where it gets interesting. So now they're gonna spend the next like 15 to 20 minutes yelling and screaming and hooping and hollering, bragging about how they've all done time, how they're professional criminals, and playing this combination of going back and forth between misogyny and quote unquote like alpha male whatever nonsense and insults and crap. Still no statements of facts, still nothing regarding any actual law that actually exists in any way, shape, or form. And it's and accusing, and what I love the fact is if you guys listen, what's up, Josiah? If you really pay attention and listen to what all of these guys are going to start saying in the next couple minutes, it's like nothing they say has anything to do with anything factual other than them admitting that they're criminals, right? And bragging about it. But also, they start talking about none of these guys have ever talked to me, seen my channel, had anything to do with me. They're going to start bringing up stuff like, well, I'm looking at his channel and it looks like he for 12 years he's been on this channel and he switched it up a bunch of times. Like, I can't post about different subjects. I have to just post about one thing. What the hell are you talking about? Second, they start talking about like, oh, he's just on there playing with toys and this and that. Excuse me for having fun with my kids. I must be a horrible person because I enjoy having fun with my kids. Like, the arguments, and like they know me so well. None of these guys ever even heard of me until last night and know nothing about me. And they even talk about this shirt. And you're going to see when you hear what they're saying, why I'm bringing this up. I literally got this from the store yesterday, put it on last night before I went on here, right? You'll see they're like, oh, look at that shirt he's wearing. Blah, blah. It's like, this is literally brand new. So anyway, here, let's just listen to these morons. They're so stupid.
who's got the spirit of your demonic feminine mama that comes right out of the state.
And
the whore of Babylon.
I put a link to his YouTube channel in the chat. And when you go to his channel, psychologically, you look at this piece of art and you see that he starts out 12 years ago and cyclically he changes his interests. So when you go through his videos, you see the first portion of his 12 years was certain videos, and then he changed his interest to toys and cartoons and things like that. And then he changed
toys and cartoons.
And he changed his
Toys and
interest.
cartoons.
And now,
just want to have fun.
And now his interest over the last couple of years has been a lot.
He's probably a brony too. probably wax it to the little cartoon feminine brony beings because he's so neotenized in his little egg there, his little hibernation egg that they have for the little babies in the hospital. All the immature, neotenized, unbegun soy lords who are so estrogenated, their emotional EQ is that of a 15-year-old girl. 15-year-old girl.
You know what I
Okay?
saw there?
If you
You know what I
took
saw
these men back, I don't care what you think about me saying it. I'm telling you it's true. And I can't wait till Elon develops a time machine. Oh boy, that's the only piece of technology I'm going to use once I verify we can get there and back. I'm taking you all back to a time when men were men, and we're going to put the soy lord out in front of the town people. And we're going to watch the women laugh and throw things at them, and you tell us how it feels. You tell us how it feels, and I'm going to ask you if there's a place for it. I'm going to ask you if there's a place for women shaming the little boys who are a bunch of punk fucking cowards who come here and have the nerve to try to tangle with me and what works with me. Laughable. Go ahead, gentlemen, expert panel.
You won't need a time machine, Paul, because we're going back to the future. We're going back to the past. We're
Absolutely, Brian O'Shea, you're on it again. The more we change, the more we stay the same. Go ahead, sir. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, we're gonna have blacksmiths. I'm gonna be a fucking blacksmith and a fucking thing, sweaty, fucking pounding on iron, while these soy bitches are wearing a mask somewhere in their fucking metaverse, fucking sucking each other off. Sorry for my
I'm
language.
only going to be able to wear a fucking tutu and be happy about it.
He says, the slave goes, what makes you think I don't want to do what they tell me to do? I go, oh no, that's exactly the point. Just like in prison. They're banging this guy in the cell next to me. He's yelling and screaming. And then I go, hey, do you want something done about this? It sounds a little rough. What makes you think I don't want it?
Joe Cool, what's
I go,
up,
you know
buddy?
what? Let me fucking back off because I clearly don't understand what dynamics going on here. Sounded pretty rough over there. I ask you if you want something done. You say, oh no, what makes you think I don't want that? I thought you were suffering. You enjoy the fucking. So have at it. Just stop trying to get me fucked. You ain't fucking me, boy. I ain't gonna wear the dress and parade around. I ain't doing it. You want to do it? Have at it.
But I want to have a driver's license. So that law does
I want
apply.
to wear the mop on my head and the lipstick. I got comfortable with it. These African American men love me in there. I get so much attention. You don't get it. No, I don't get it. Stupid weak ass motherfucker. They're playing on you. And I ain't gonna put the dress on, and I don't want to be like you. And you ain't gonna make me be like you.
So, for anyone who wasn't here earlier, and I see Joe Cool came in, just to put it into perspective, what's going on? Everything that these guys are saying right now, all of this anger, this hatred, these repulsive insults, these terrible, horrible, vile, vicious things coming out of their mouths are related to the fact that I mentioned something about, get ready. If you weren't here earlier, you're going to freak out when you see this. It's like the craziest stuff in the world. Like, I understand why they're so vicious and vile and horrible words coming out of their mouth because of this. Watch this. Check it out. That's it. That's it. Everything they're saying right now, that's what they're talking about. A piece of cloth on a string.
You know what? A perfect product of, I'm going to guess, probably came from a Christian family, like most people in this nation, in the West, whatever you want to call it. He like all of us saw that, hey, you know, this church that my family belongs to in this day and age, kind of bullshit, kind of duality, kind of a hypocrisy going on there. But he couldn't figure out that the social engineers had another religion waiting for him called atheism, which is a gateway. Oh, he's going to say, no, atheism isn't a religion. Yes, it is.
That's exactly what it is.
You know everything about me.
Every one of these folks. Every one of these folks is an open or closet
Yes, these
atheist who
guys are
doesn't
talking
believe in
about me,
anything
Joe,
outside their
because I
own
said
thoughts
something
and
about a
feelings.
mask.
They don't serve a motherfucking thing, and that's why fear runs their life, because they're faithless.
And it's a gateway. Atheism is a nice little gateway drug, a stepping stone to the most evil religions of statism and scientism.
I can't fucking win. You don't understand. That's why they tried to get to me a long time ago.
I'm sorry. So hold on. Let's go back for a second. Hold on. Check this out. So right now, these guys are making the argument that's because I have this, that means I'm an atheist. Really? Holy cow. But they will, in a minute, you'll see. And this is why I'm still playing this, because it's unbelievable. You're going to see in a couple minutes, they're going to start bragging about going to prison and murdering people. They're going to start bragging about stabbing people in the neck for trying to touch their food. But I'm the godless one because I said something about I would wear this. Talk about insane.
Because they said, Paulie's got a criminal mind. There's a part of me, I can't wait to get in a fucking camp with scum like you. You can't wait. I can't wait till you try to sell me out. We wind up in the same place, because I'm going to feed on you while we're there. I'm going to turn into everything I tried to stop when we get there. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of turning into everything I tried to fight against, because I'm sick of
that
it.
presentation.
You want to be played on? Daddy will prey on you then. That's what you want, I'll give it to you.
We can go back to cavemen days. We can go back to cavemen days. Oh, it doesn't matter how much knowledge we all have.
Look, guys, seriously, like, look at this. Look at this. I've played this whole thing for a very specific reason, to illustrate just how absolutely batshit insane these people are. So, because I came on their panel and they asked me that if I walked into a place that required a mask, would I wear one? And I said yes. Everything you're hearing was in response to that. Now this guy's literally crying about it. He's literally crying. Like, what the hell is wrong with these people?
How much technology we all have, you let the system, it'll put us all back into caveman days.
Yeah, see, that's the problem.
Darwinism, let the strong survive. Guess who's going to be fucking winning with what you want? You say that's what you want, right? That's what you're all pushing us toward. The de-evolution of God's law back into man's who he might makes right? Might makes right. So go ahead, push us all back into political power grows out of a barrel of gun and might makes right, because that's when I'm going to win again. I win here, I win there. You don't have what it takes to win on any of these levels, because you're a punk coward.
That's what these people fail to realize when they look at people like you and I, Paul. When they look at that record, they think it's detrimental. Let me tell you something, guys. At 105 fucking pounds, been in and out of those institutions with 360-pound motherfuckers. Hey, boy, you look pretty. Yeah? You can see how pretty I look up inside you, bitch. Because it ain't going to go that way. It's about respecting. Has nothing to do with size, age, race, sex, nothing. Has a matter of respecting life, and that is the fear of God. Because
it's a matter of respecting your fucking self. How about that? You wonder why a lot of these folks go to communities, and then the folks prey on them and play on them, because innately they go, "This fucking motherfucker's so weak, he don't even respect himself. I couldn't even love him if I tried to. I'm just gonna play on him till he gets it. Till he gets it."
Motherfucking 18-year-old kids walking into prison saying, "Yeah, I killed somebody." Bitch, you fucking accidentally tripped and killed him. You didn't fucking murder nobody, motherfuckers. You got to have a fucking heart to live in the world, not in this fucking prison. Let's see you out on the fucking streets. Let's see how you walk like a man then, without all your buddies behind you. These fucking cops say they got to wear all these fucking safety measures, fucking have a canine shit. Man, I walk the same motherfucking mean streets, and I don't have none of them. Who the fuck you think you are? You're nothing but prefacing the fucking coward that everybody else has to fucking depend on, because They're an even fucking Dirk Howard.
Bro, you know how you verify what we're saying is true, that fear runs their life? They get scared with us just raising our voice here on a fucking broadcast.
And that's
you
been
see it in their
several
face.
times.
Now, see, I want to address that real quick too. So, because I know what's coming, right? So, these guys, I'm still in there. He didn't boot me, he put me backstage. And they eventually bring me back up, right? Because I don't know, but just on a psychological level, understanding, I'm not a psychologist, but understanding psychology to the extent that I do, these guys being these uber machismo, bragging about doing time, bragging about beating people up and all that, and saying that, like, oh, he's running away because we're yelling at him, and yet, like, they're the ones that put me backstage. I didn't run. I didn't just rage quit, right? They put me backstage. I think, again, based on the little bit I understand about psychology, that eventually, because I stayed there backstage, and especially once this dude starts crying, when I'm like, whoa, and in the comments I'm saying, whoa, wait a minute. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to have a discussion. You guys asked me if I wore a mask when I went into the building that says mask required, and I said yes, and that's triggered this whole explosion of insanity. And I think that as, these big machismo, alpha, whatever they are, I don't know, they don't say this flat out, but I think they respected the fact that I did stay and that I didn't rage quit and that I didn't run away. And that's why they brought me back on, because you'll see. And it's funny because when they bring me back on, Paul's going to compliment me about how much my attitude changed, but go back and watch the whole thing. I literally maintain the exact same demeanor throughout the entire interaction. They're the ones that are flipping out. They're the ones that are going batshit crazy. They're the ones that are talking crap. And then once they calm down, and like I said, I think maybe it's because they respected the fact that I didn't run away, but once they calm down, then all of a sudden they're all nice to me and saying, well, it's because I changed up my attitude. It's like, my demeanor was identical the entire time I've been involved in this whole thing. Like, they're the ones who were changing it up and acting crazy and hooping and hollering and screaming and yelling and crying and bragging about being in prison.
Be in fear then. Because like I'm telling you, that's the fear of God. It's not that God that you can't see. It's the God in the image and likeness right before you that will reach over and stab you for taking food off my tray. I will knock you out. I will leave you in the middle of the street. I'm the center of this world.
All right, I'm going to pause it there because now I'm going to fast forward because of what he just said. In about 20 minutes, I'm going to try to find the exact part. He's talking to me when I come back like, well, Jesus loves you and we all have to work together and God. And he just got done saying, if you try to touch my plate, I'll stab you in the neck. I'll murder you. I'll beat you down. How dare you? And then 20 minutes later, he's, oh, Jesus and God. And it's so wonderful and love, love, love. Like, this guy is like beyond a turd. He's absolute. Ugh. Here, let's go back to where I come back now. Let's see. Here we go.
Taken that will lead you to better things in your life. Now, whether you see what I see as better things in life may not be the same thing. So while you might see having a driver's license, Hezekiah, as a good thing, I don't see it as a good thing because you pose that they wouldn't have a driver's license unless you're supposed to have one. That's the fallacy of thinking. I wasn't born with a birth certificate. It didn't come until after I was born.
You weren't born with a couch, but you're sitting on one.
Tells us
you weren't
that
born with a roof over your head, but you got one.
A living soul. So if anybody tries to profess themselves to be a man in front of me, I have to help correct even them because I don't see you as a man.
Wizard.
Let me finish. I feel you as a spiritual being, and therefore I have to express it as that. Genesis 2:7, according to the scriptures that I use as my holy writs, which I believe you would confer and agree with, that God created man of the dust of the ground.
20 minutes ago, you're talking about stabbing people in the neck.
His nostrils, man became a living soul. I cannot possibly be subject to any one of those codes then, because it never, ever refers to the living soul. Not once. If it could admit that one truth, we could work on it. But because it does not, I cannot use that other than as a reference
church and
to
state.
point out the scriptures that I use as my holy writs that say John 1:1, in beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. It also says in those scriptures that God is love.
Notice now how after I sat in the background, backstage, listening to these idiots scream and holler and yell and insult and do all this crap for an hour and talking all this violence and vicious nonsense, now all of a sudden they're so sweet and nice and talking about God. And what happened to I'm going to stab you in the neck? What happened to if you're walking down the street, I'll show you who's your daddy and I'll take you? Where'd that guy go? And what is it's like I'm on a different panel all of a sudden. It's crazy the way the whole mood of the whole thing changed up. And again, I don't know. They didn't say this, so don't accuse me, you guys, of putting words in your mouth. But just from what little bit I do understand about psychology, I think it was because I stayed there. And it's funny too, and I even mentioned this coming up, like I want to explain my psychology behind what you guys are about to see now, right? Because it's like, I could see some of you thinking, well, wait, why did you take their abuse? Why did you, whatever? But here's the thing. It's, to me, the whole point of why I even bothered to look at any of this at all is because, like I said, way back at the beginning of this stream today, right? You have your standard bottom of the barrel idiots who are just trying to use this script as a way to get paid on YouTube. But then you have a completely different group of people who are people who actually believe that this stuff is true. And they're wrong beyond all of it's been debunked a billion times. Everyone here, I'm sure, knows better. Even Joe Cool, I've had conversations with him, and I know that he's at least open-minded to both sides of the argument, right? But these guys are so blue-pilled into their non-existent universe where they believe everything that's not true is true, and everything that's true is a lie made up by the government, that there's no whatever. But the point is, I go there because I want to actually understand the mentality behind people who believe in this. And as this second part of the debate goes on, you'll see that they say a lot of things that, and if you look at my face, you'll see me literally bite my lip. There are a couple times where I just want to jump on them and go Wolverine on them, because it's like, wait a minute. You can't. But I go out of my way from this point forward to, you know what? Every time you say something that I know that you're just speaking out of your ass, I'm not going to call you out on it, because I truly want to hear the mentality from which people who believe in stupidity comes from. Like, how could you possibly believe this nonsense to be true? I literally want to understand how that's even possible. So I give them the opportunity to paint their picture from here on out. I make my points, but there's a lot of things that they're about to say where I have plenty of opportunities to attack, but I don't, because I really want to understand where they're coming from. And in the end, what I learned was that, and I did learn something. This is the thing. This was an educational process for me. the problem is none of them learned anything because their minds are so completely closed and they're so completely blue-pilled that if you tell them the truth, they say that that's a lie made up by the evil government. And if you tell them a lie, they're the first to jump on you. But every word out of their mouth has no substantiation in anything real. And this is the thing. And Leland says this, but this is the thing. For me, it isn't even about the religious thing because, again, this isn't a political channel. This isn't a religious channel. So I don't really get into my personal views with that kind of stuff. But my point is, how can you spend 20 minutes screaming and hooping and hollering and yelling about how you're proud of the fact that you've been in prison, that you're proud of the fact that when you walk down the street, people are afraid of you, and how if somebody touches your plate, you swear you'll stab them in the neck and you'll murder people and steal from people and do all these things, and then turn around 20 minutes later and start quoting me the Bible. It's not a question of what side of the fence I'm on as far as religion, but the fact that you would use religion as your defense when 20 minutes ago you were talking about basically bragging about violating everything that every religion teaches you not to do, and then turn around and use and seeing the hypocrisy of it. And at this point, I'm not even trying to debate these guys. I'm just trying to watch them dig their own hole and just listening and soaking in like, wow, I'm not going to call you out on your stupidity. I'm just going to let it roll. Let it roll. Just keep spouting this nonsense out of your mouths and let me soak it all in and see, like, if maybe I decide to give you guys the benefit of the doubt, I'll shut up and let you talk 5 minutes so you can prove me wrong. And every time I start thinking that maybe you guys are smart, I'm going to shut up and let you talk to prove me wrong. And every time I start to think that maybe you guys are actually making a good point, I'm going to shut up and listen so that you can prove me wrong. Like anytime I start thinking anything good about these guys, I let them keep talking and they prove me wrong.
So if I'm supposed to follow the word is supposed to be of love. No matter how loud I get and how violent others might think I am truly doing it in love because I've been there, brother. I've been under the belief that you had to have a driver's license. I found out different.
Yeah, so now it's okay to stab people in the neck.
I don't need you to believe in it. That's not my purpose. So I'm not here to argue. I'm here to point out plain, simple truth that everybody can and should read. Did you know, brother, that they have in their code
now I'm
inpatient hospital services?
Oh, wait, this is a good one.
Is
Listen.
the definition of a spell of illness? Oh, yeah. See, he's thinking now.
Hey, wait,
yeah.
Let me go back.
Look that one.
Let me go back.
Is the definition of a. I'm here to point out plain, simple truth that everybody can and should read. Did you know, brother, that they have in their code for inpatient hospital services is the definition of a spell of illness? Oh, yeah. See, he's thinking now. Yeah. Look that one up, brother. In their own federal code, they have a definition for spell of illness. And when you read that, you will find out that mother on the first day of inpatient hospital treatment was conditioned as a spell of illness. If she went in there under doing the good works of our Father, which art in heaven, bringing a legacy heir into this world, and he was born on that first day or second day, it was still his first day. So now we have a spell of illness in duality, wherein they converted not the discharge of man from his mother's waters, wherein he took the breath of life and became a living soul, but in fact kept him in that stature as a man by making a record as a man, continuing the prenatal record that was discovered as a man when she discovered she was pregnant.
Now.
Okay. You have no idea what he's talking about. He has no idea what he's talking about because guess what? I did look that up. This guy is so insane Now, what he's saying and the reality of it are so different. I wanted to stop it here because this is a perfect example of what I talk about over and over and over again with all of the arguments that these people make. Okay. Taking words and redefining them to fit their narrative and then restating them as fact. And what's up, Idolate? Anyone who's been watching this for a while can see quite clearly that the argument I was making earlier when they said, well, this defines the U.S. government as a business. And I say, well, under what context? And he says, oh, well, wait, you think words magically change their meanings based on context? It's like, wait a minute. Yeah. It's called English. If you speak it, you will know that if I say, I don't know. Now I'm trying to think. The context in which you use a word does affect the meaning of the word, especially if it's a word that has more than one meaning. Okay. Talking about the because this was their big argument earlier in this discussion, right? Their big argument that the US government is a corporation because in the commercial code, they say the US is defined as a corporation within the context of the commercial code. And then again, this is what I said to them earlier, making the argument that, well, see, this applies only to commercial stuff. It's like, well, yeah, because it's the commercial code. Of course, the commercial code only applies to commercial activity. And the code against murder only applies to murderous activity. And the code against theft only applies to theft. Like, you can't take something from the code that's anti-theft and try to apply it to, me combing my hair. It doesn't apply because it has nothing to do with theft. Like, so what is this? What did he just say? What's he talking about? What's up, Mitch? Okay. So what he just said is that when a woman has a baby, they have a thing called a spell of illness. Right? And here, let me play it again. And then I'm going to go back and explain to you guys what he's talking about and how he's taking it completely out of context and trying to redefine it to fit his false narrative. Let me go
Now
back.
I want to wherein they converted in there. Point that one up, brother. Is that they have trying to express that. I don't need you to believe in it. That's not my purpose. So I'm not here to argue. I'm here to point out plain, simple truth that everybody can and should read. Did you know, brother, that they have in their code for inpatient hospital services is the definition of a spell of illness? Oh, yeah. See, he's thinking now. Yeah. Look that one up, brother. In their own federal code, they have a definition for spell of illness. And when you read that, you will find out that mother on the first day of inpatient hospital treatment was conditioned as a spell of illness. If she went in there under doing the good works of our Father, which art in heaven, bringing a legacy heir into this world, and he was born on that first day or second day, it was still his first day. So now we have a spell of illness in duality, wherein they converted not the discharge of man from his mother's waters, wherein he took the breath of life and became a living soul, but in fact kept him in that stature as a man by making a record as a man, continuing the prenatal record that was discovered as a man when she discovered she was pregnant.
And there he goes again, accentuating the T sound, which means that he's right and everything he's saying is true because he accentuated the T, pregnant, right? Quote, every time he accentuates the T, it's supposed to be like now he's saying something important. So what is he talking about? So I did look it up. And he's talking about it as if the government has some sort of conspiracy going on where the mother, right after having the baby, is being cast under this spell of illness by the government. And they're using this magic spell to change the baby from a human being into a corporate fiction by giving it an all caps name and a social security number. Evil satanic cult. They're using spells. It's even called a spell of illness. They're saying flat out that they're casting evil spells. I think I'm going to sit a spell. Oh, I'm just going to go hang out outside and sit a spell. What does that mean? It's a period of time, an undisclosed period of time because it's not specific. The mother just had the baby. So now they have, and this is a legitimate thing, a spell of illness. In other words, spell not like magic spells being cursed and cast by the evil government. Spell as in a period of time for her to recover from the trauma of pushing a human being through her birth canal. Okay. And the hospital monitoring her blood pressure and everything else and making sure that she didn't get tore open and she needs stitches and letting her heal and letting her get over all of the intensity of birth, right? Having a spell, not an evil, wicked spell, but a period of time where the hospital is able to monitor her health and make sure she's okay after having the baby. That's what a spell of illness is. And he's trying to paint it like it's the evil government and their demons getting together to cast their satanic spells on the mother so they could take over the baby and turn it into a corporate fiction. It's absolute nonsense. It is a thing, yes, but it's not what he's painting. Like I said, it's spell as in an undisclosed period of time. They don't give a specific period of time because it depends on the mother. I'll give you an example. All right. My last child, right? My wife at the time had to get a C-section. There was a major spell of illness for a long period of time where she had to heal from the surgery that they needed to remove the baby, right? But her sister, her last baby, she said, "Ooh, I think I'm in labor," laid down on the paper and went, whoop, and it popped right out. No problem. Her spell of illness was like 5 minutes, right? That's why it's a spell. It's not 45 minutes. It's not 6 hours. It's not a day and a half. It all depends on the mom. They have no idea how long it's going to take, which is why it's called a spell of illness. It's an undisclosed period of time to give her to be monitored by the hospital to make sure she's okay and for her to heal. But this guy's painting it as a magic spell being cast by the evil government to take over the child's soul. Insane conspiracy theory nonsense. Now, from there, they go on and on and on about this. And again, for the rest of the time, we have a couple disagreements and discussions, but for the most part, like I said, the whole rest of this thing is basically me letting them talk and just letting them get their points across and me saying, okay, all right, and trying to find bits and pieces of actual laws or actual facts that they bring up and saying, yeah, okay, you know what? I'll give you that. Like, like for example, if he says the spell, like I didn't know anything about that at whatever, but like the point is, I'm not going to show the rest because it's basically just me letting them speak, which, to them, I don't know because they didn't say this flat out, but I think from their point of view, I was finally beginning to come over to their side. While from my point of view, it was okay. You know what? These guys are just going to keep spouting this word salad. Let's hear it. Like I said, it got to a point where it was like, you know what? I might start actually thinking there might be some intelligence there. So let me shut up and let them talk so they could prove me wrong. Or if I'm starting to think that they're idiots, let them keep talking to prove I'm right. Whatever it is. So the whole rest of it is actually kind of nice and good. But yeah, Graham had a spell of the COVID once. Yeah. Sorry, I'm back. I love you, Peck. But the way you wrote that, it doesn't sound like you're saying like, sorry you left, but I'm back now, because there's no comma. So it's like, sorry, I'm back. Like, whoa, thanks for letting us know. Oh, everybody look out, Peck's back. Sorry, I'm back. Yeah, it's so anyway, that's that. It's a bunch of nonsense. These guys are about as dumb as a bottle of rocks. A bottle of rocks. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because I thought it was quite amusing, interesting, and again, this time yesterday I never even heard of Paul Enslaved. Now, on one level, I'm almost sorry I have, but on the other hand, I do like what happened. I do like that conversation we had because it's, how can I explain it? To me, it was an educational experience. The problem is, I was trying to educate them and they didn't want to hear it. And to me, it just reinforces that whole thing, just reinforces my argument that if you bring up facts to these people, they just completely disregard them as government propaganda. And when they bring up facts, it's not. It's just them vomiting word salad, and you're supposed to accept it as fact because they said it. And when they bring up, and it always, one of the reasons why that whole thing drove me nuts and why I wanted to share it with you guys as well is because they'll bring up these codes and these policies and these things to back up their arguments, which is all crap, right? And every one of the ones that they're talking about is nonsense. But then if I talk about those things, well, codes and policies and this and that don't matter because they're not real. It's like, well, then why are you using them? First of all, you're using them wrong. Second, how could you say in one hand that these codes and policies back up my argument, which they don't because you're making them up. They're not real. But how could you say that policies and codes back your argument, but you don't accept policies and codes? Yes, actually, LJ, and that was one of the things that we talked about. At the beginning, I mentioned Artie's Corporate Fiction, and they were like, oh, you mean the guy that I just picked apart piece by piece and showed him what's what? Yeah, I taught him a thing or two. Like gloating and bragging about how they won the debate with Artie. So I got to go back and find that and watch it because I don't believe for a second that they ever won any debate, even the one they had with me last night. Because how can you win a debate when everything you say is false and everything the other person says you just ignore because, well, that doesn't count? Why? Well, because it came from evil, corrupt, rotten, no good politicians. So, well, okay, but I'm talking about actual fact, and you're talking about just made up nonsense. And there were a few specific things that I addressed on his channel. Let's go back. Because I just, oh, wait. Oh, he's on live right now. Oh, my goodness. That's funny. And 4 weeks ago, he actually had Chili on his channel, too. So that tells you where he's at. But let's go back to his, where is it? I don't know. I'm gonna be done with that for now because it ain't worth it.
Even if you decide to cut it out totally.
Okay, so where are we at here? All right. So guys, I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. I've been on for 3 hours. I got stuff to do. Adelaide, what's up? Paul Unslaved is live right now. The guy that I was just showing clips from me talking to him yesterday. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up. Love you guys so much. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it all the way. Can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. And until then, we're gonna say, yeah, I'm all shook up.